What's up, schmucks? Welcome to the show. It's Spider-Man weekend. Woo, Spider-Man. How are you? How you doing? It's Spider-Man day or Spider-Man weekend. Spider-Man. Just to spoil it right now, I didn't like Brand New Day. I think it's really bad. That is coming up later. I had my friend Graham on, and we already recorded it, but we talked about Brand New Day. Full spoiler discussion, by the way. We talked for like an hour, so I'll just insert that when we get to that point. Sorry, my bad. I am kind of congested, so I'm like really stuffed in my nose, so I'm just doing a lot of mouth breathing, which sucks because I have to talk, then take a breath, and I can't breathe in my nose, so I can't even do it subtly, so I'm just doing a lot of mouth breathing lately. It's awesome. It's great. It's cool. We're talking about Spider-Man. I'm gonna come back and record the weekly media club because I haven't finished Wuthering Heights. I'm watching it currently. I took a break to do the Spider-Man talk and the whole whatever. But also on that Spider-Man talk conversation, the camera froze for us like a little ways into it. So I'll probably just have like the footage for as long as it stayed, and then it'll just cut to like something else. I don't know. Anyway, this week we have to talk about composer for the Batman Part 2 has been revealed. A Barbie sequel might be happening, maybe. There was some Marvel news regarding Blade and Wonder Man. Not good news. And then we have some casting for X-Men involving seemingly confirmed casting, and then some rumored casting and some whatever else. Then we're going to talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day. And then will be the weekly media club. We'll talk about Wuthering Heights. That was our homework. And I will maybe talk about some comic books. I've read a couple. I don't know if they're worth talking about, so I'll come to that conclusion later. Anyway, in the meantime, what's up, schmucks? Welcome to Turkey Talk. I don't think I said that. Let's go. So, composer for the Batman Part 2 will officially be Michael Giacchino, who has worked with Matt Reeves across, I think, all of his movies, or at least most recently the Batman and then the Planet of the Apes movies. I don't know if he scored Cloverfield or that vampire movie he made. I don't know offhand. But yeah, it has been confirmed, or at least reported, that he is back for the Batman Part 2. That's great. I love the score in the Batman. I think it's incredible. I think every character's got a great motif as is, but then like, I don't know. It's good. It's good music. It's good. I listen to it when I read Batman comics. Sometimes I listen to it to fall asleep too. I think it's really good. It's very melancholy. No, that's good. I have nothing to say there. That's really good. I would be curious though if he'll adapt or change the Batman score, because the Batman score, like the Batman piece of music, is incredible. It's just remarkable. It feels so instantly iconic and so thoroughly Batman. I'd be curious if he'd make any adjustments to it, or if he realizes he's struck gold and it'll just stay the same, which I would be fine with. Typically, like, motifs for characters remain largely the same. They might change a thing or two. So I don't know. I can't imagine he'd change it drastically. You know, a theme is a theme, but I don't know. I'm curious if he can improve it in any way, because in my mind, it's basically perfect. Okay, moving on. That's all I have to say about that. Barbie might be getting a sequel. So I've read a couple different articles about this. So what seems to be the truth is that Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, who wrote the first Barbie, have an idea for a sequel, or at least have like the makings of an idea. And they're in some level of script writing development phase. But Warner Brothers, and more specifically David Zaslav, who runs Warner Brothers, he doesn't want to give them the money that they're looking for. This idea would bring back Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, and Zaslav doesn't want to give it to them, saying that it is, quote, too generous. Now, in my mind, that's a stupid thing, because Barbie made well over $1 billion. I think it was like $1.5 billion Barbie made. It was a monstrous success for Warner Brothers, a cultural touchstone. Like, it's the kind of movie that studios dream of having. It was remarkable, the level of success that movie reached. I really like Barbie. I think it's really good. I was going to do a video about it earlier this year. I recorded a thing, and I just forgot to edit it. Well, I didn't forget. I got overwhelmed with other stuff. Anyway, This is stupid. The movie made $1.5 billion. Give them a blank check. What are you fucking talking about? You want to chase that success as best you can. Why is Zaslav the worst at everything? I would be curious though. What does a Barbie sequel really look like? That first one's very contained in and of itself, it being like what it is. Like an exploration of womanhood and, Barbie, a fish out of water story comedy about Barbie coming to the real world and realizing that the joys of feminism did not bring the illustrious advancements that Barbie Land had. That's a fun story. It's a good movie. I'm just interested, like, what would the second one be? Especially now that Barbie is human, and it seems like Margot Robbie would be back in the role. So, like, what does that mean? What does that do? It's not a movie that I think I needed a sequel to. And I could be wrong. I mean, there are some movies where you're like, oh, that doesn't need a sequel. And the sequel's really good. So who knows? Also, I would trust in Greta Gerwig. I believe in her as a filmmaker to be able to pull off something genuinely meaningful. Still don't love that she's basically dedicating her career to this franchise shit, but whatever. Barbie movies, Narnia movies. Where's her next Lady Bird? Where's that at? Anyway, as for the Marvel side of things, Blade and Wonder Man have been canceled. It's weird because Wonder Man was renewed for a season 2 earlier this year, I think in January. And then the reporting now is that it's officially canceled. And the showrunner came out and he said that there was like a conversation or a meeting or something that happened between the renewal and now where they decided at Marvel Studios that renewal was just not on the table, that canceling the show was the way they were going to go. It's weird to me because it did very well. Like with viewership, it did well critically. People were talking about it. People really liked it. Destin Daniel Cretton, I think, was the showrunner. No, he wasn't the showrunner. I think he directed some of it and he produced all of it. But he's involved and he's got a Spider-Man movie out right now that is like doing record numbers in terms of success. Like you'd think you'd want more of that. That's like the thing you want, but apparently not. And then in terms of Blade, Blade was announced in actually, let me look it up. When was Blade movie announced? Because I think it was announced in like 2019, I think. I know we knew about it going into Eternals. Yeah, 2019, I was right. Yeah, because in Eternals they teased Blade, and that was 2021. So yeah, they've been fucking jerking Mahershala Ali around for fucking 5-6 years. No, 2019. So what's that? 7 years now? Jesus Christ. Why? Why did you do this? Like, a Blade movie's not hard. I think Feige even said in an interview like a week ago, because he was asked at Comic-Con, like, where's the Blade movie? And he's like, oh, we didn't want to just make a movie about a guy who fights vampires. We wanted it to be different. Why? That's literally all you need to do. Yeah, the important thing there is like the intrigue and the character work and the journey and the arc and this and that. But at its core, it is Blade hunting vampires. That's what we want. I think they were trying to like, grow it and build it into more franchise shit. How can we make this tie into the X-Men? How can we make this tie into the Eternals? How can we make this tie into whatever the fuck? And they couldn't figure that out. And they don't do standalone movies at the MCU. They only do like trailers for the next thing. So maybe that's why they couldn't like crack it, so to speak. But Mahershala Ali, he did have a comment, and he said, I have the quote right here. I've been doing this professionally for pushing 30 years now, and one thing I've learned is that what is for you, and what is not, is not. For whatever reason, that project is not for me. If they wanted to do it, we would have done it, so I have to move on. Again, you had me under contract, they have billions of dollars. If they wanted to do the movie, they would have done the movie, so we're not doing the movie. But I feel ready to move on from the Blade questions. Those questions are for them. They didn't want to do it, so they should answer that question. Yeah, I mean, I will say, and I wrote it here, and I might be missing a few things, but this is a really bad look in terms of the way Marvel is canceling, sidelining, and like backtracking on their black characters. So Blade is not happening. Wonder Man is canceled. Monica Rambeau is just gone. She had a tease of where she was headed in the end of the Marvels, but then Teyonah Parris was asked, and she was basically like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. No one's called me. They went through a whole ordeal of making Anthony Mackie Captain America just to sideline him and bring back Steve Rogers. This isn't a good look. It does not look good for the way that the heads of Marvel and Kevin Feige are handling all these black characters. It's bad, man. And it doesn't help that Shang-Chi, they never moved forward with him in having a sequel or anything like that. It's just interesting to me, like the people of color characters, and Black Panther is an exception because that was $1 billion movie, and Ryan Coogler is a remarkably successful filmmaker now. Not that he never was, just with Sinners, he's much more well known. He's more popular now. He's a hot ticket. So there is guaranteed success there, but they're not willing to give the time of day to black characters for some reason. It's just. It's a bad look. I'm not saying Kevin Feige's a racist, but I am saying that if you wanted to call him a racist, you have a little bit of evidence to make that point. It's just a really bad look. Yeah, but I mean, I get a Blade movie, dude. The Blade movie. It cannot be that fucking hard. The Wonder Man cancellation is sad, but. The Blade thing, it's weird because they kept getting different writers and different directors, and it really felt like for a while there, it was well, this isn't really ever going to happen, is it? And now we know it never is going to happen. So, it's just genuine, absolute bullshit, man. It's nonsense. And I really feel for Mahershala Ali. He seemed excited to do it. It seemed like a role he wanted to play. He seemed very committed. Apparently, he did a lot of training with swords and stunt type work or whatever you call it. And he's bringing that into another movie he's doing called Your Mother, Your Mother, Your Mother, which I haven't really looked into. I just know he's in it. I was going to see it regardless, but I haven't even seen a trailer. I like to go to things blind if I can. I don't know. I don't know, man. I think it's stupid. I would have liked to have seen a Blade movie. That being said, the current state of the MCU, where everything is just set up in a trailer for the next thing, it probably wouldn't have been good anyway. So maybe he dodged a bullet there. Anyway, my last piece of news I have this week, we're going to talk about the X-Men. For most of this is fine, but I will say... spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day, because that movie confirms another X-Men character, and I'm going to bring that up, so just spoilers for Brand New Day, okay? So, we have now confirmed or seemingly confirmed casting of Samara Weaving as Emma Frost in the X-Men movie. X-Men movie directed by Jake Schreier, by the way, who did Thunderbolts, which is really good. I really like Thunderbolts. So him involved... It's a great choice. And then Kaylee Spaney is rumored to be playing Rogue, which I like. Cooper Hoffman, who Kaylee Spaney, I should go back. Kaylee Spaney, you might know from Civil War, Alien Romulus, Priscilla, which was that movie about Priscilla Presley and her being groomed by Elvis. Great movie. And she was also in Beef Season 2, which I didn't watch because I didn't like Beef Season 1, but maybe I should watch Season 2. Apparently it's really good. And then Cooper Hoffman, who I only know from The Long Walk, where he plays John Longwalk. He's rumored to be playing Cyclops. And people have been really mean about that. Like, oh, he's too fat to be Cyclops. I don't think so. I don't think he's that fat at all. I think he just looks like a normal guy. Looks like a regular guy you'd see at Walmart. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He can be Cyclops. It's fine. And then Indy Neveretti, she's not rumored for this, but she has said in an interview that she wanted to play Mystique. And she met with Jake Schreier not too long ago. So it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility she could play Mystique. Which I think is a decent choice. And then we now know after Spider-Man, Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. So our X-Men cast is coming together. There was also rumors of Adam Driver playing Mr. Sinister, but initially he was rumored to be Magneto, and then it was Mr. Sinister. So I don't know where that's going to land. He might end up being Charles Xavier. Who knows? This all sounds genuinely good, though. I like these castings. Samara Weaving as Emma Frost is great. That is absolutely fantastic. I hadn't considered her for that role, but that's really good. I do wonder how much they'll do, like what they'll do with Emma Frost if she's in this movie. Because the last time we saw her was First Class, where she is not really in it all that much, but she's fine. I don't know. We're going to see Krakoa. We're going to see Mutant Israel. What's going on there? In terms of the rest of them, I really like Kaylee Spaney as Rogue. I think that's really good. And then Cooper Hoffman, I already said, as Cyclops, I really like. Indy Neveretti as Mystique, I think is good, if that is true. And then Sadie Sink, Jean Grey, I don't like. I didn't really touch on this. in the Spider-Man review that you're gonna see in a moment. But I didn't think she was very good in Brand New Day. I don't think she's very good in Stranger Things. I think her best performance is probably The Whale, where she just plays Max from Stranger Things again, but she swears a little more. But there's just a little more compassion in that performance than she does with Stranger Things that I thought elevated it just a little bit. But I guess that's the difference between working with like Aronofsky and anyone that directed for Stranger Things. So I guess that's the difference there. But I don't think she's great. Like, I think of this lineup, Samara Weaving, Kaylee Spaney, Inda Neveretti, Cooper Hoffman, I think she's definitely the least talented one. Which isn't like to like power scale actors. I don't know. She doesn't impress me as a performer the way that like Samara Weaving does, or the Kaylee Spaney. I think that's good. I know Odessa Azion, is that how you say it? The one from Marty Supreme. She was rumored for Rogue too. I don't like that. I don't see that. But Spaney as Rogue, I quite enjoy. I think that's good. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I like the X-Men for the most part. The current X-Men run, I jumped into it a couple issues ago. I like it. It's all right. Daredevil was in one of the issues. I thought that was cool. But like the X-Men is a group of characters that I don't know everything about. I have like a very like surface level knowledge of the X-Men. But Cyclops is my favorite one. Like of what I've read, he's the one I enjoy the most. I like Scott Summers. I think he kicks ass. So, he's the casting I'd probably pay attention to the most. I don't know. I do think it's interesting though. They dropped the Samara Weaving casting news like right when they did the Blade and Wonder Man cancellations. It was like they were trying to mask that. Like they had to report on that, but then it was also like, oh yeah, and also we have X-Men casting. Get excited for X-Men. Yeah. And I was also reading today there are rumors from, not a super reputable source, mind you, that Storm will be introduced in Black Panther 3, and Ryan Coogler is going to have, like, he wants a direct hand in casting that role. I don't like this trend of where all of our movies now are going to be set up for X-Men. I don't really like that. I know Storm has relations to Wakanda and Black Panther, but no, like why is every Marvel movie now a backdoor pilot for X-Men? Because when it finally comes time for Jake Schreier's X-Men movie, it's going to become like, oh, I can't wait for the X-Men movie. But just so we're all like on the same page, did you see Spider-Man Brand New Day? Did you see Black Panther 3? Did you see Ghost Rider? Did you see whatever else? And they'd be like, no, why? Oh, those are actually like the movies that set up the X-Men. Like, why? Why does Black Panther 3 set up X-Men? Why does Spider-Man 4 set up X-Men? You know what I mean? Like, I understand the whole idea of a cinematic universe is that it all links together. I'm saying I don't like that. I'm saying I think cinematic universes are bad. That's what I'm saying. And I've grown very tired of it. I miss when movies were movies. I miss when like a movie had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there wasn't a section of it that was a trailer for the next thing. I don't want that. I don't know. I am curious though if when we get to the Jake Schreier X-Men movie, how established will it be? Will they already be a team, like in X-Men, the Bryan Singer one? Will they have like what will the lineup be? Will they have a Nightcrawler already? Will they have Jubilee? Will they actually do something with Jubilee? Because they had a Jubilee in like all the other ones, and she never did shit. Every time she was there, she just fucked around. Are we gonna get we're gonna get Beast? I think I saw a rumored casting for Beast, but I don't remember who it was. Are we gonna get God damn it, Cyclops? Who's gonna be Professor X? When we do Magneto, are we still gonna do the Holocaust origin because of just the time discrepancy? The Holocaust was what, like 80 years ago now at this point? I mean, how are you gonna do that? Especially if we're doing like younger X-Men. I saw someone say you could do it like the Rwandan genocide, like a kid who's there, and you do that as like a redone origin of Magneto. But there's also like a ton of horrible real world atrocities that you could pull from, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I always thought like the thing about Magneto though is that the Holocaust origin works so well for him. If you change that, you're gonna have to repurpose a lot of different things about his character. So they'll basically just have to make an OC at this point. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not super into the Marvel universe anymore. I don't really care. Like I'll watch them. I'll watch them. I go to the movies like once a week. If that week I go has a Marvel movie, I'll see the Marvel movie. But I'm not like chomping at the bit for the Marvel movies. I don't give a shit. Even the DCU, like hearing like all the things, I just can't say that I'm like super jazzed about it. But we'll see how Lanterns go. I'm looking forward to Lanterns. But yeah, no, that's it. X-Men casting. It all sounds good, I guess. It's fine. Anywho, you're now going to hear from me from like an hour or two ago. I'm talking about Spider-Man. Spider-Man. I bought this on a whim because I was so excited for Spider-Man. See, I was just saying I don't care about Marvel movies, but I feel like Spider-Man transcends Marvel. This is a really good figure. But after that movie, I don't think I want it anymore. I was going to throw it, but I'm not. I paid a lot of money for this. I'm not throwing it. Anywho, yeah, bye. I'll see you again in like a couple hours because I have to go finish Wuthering Heights, and then I'll come back and record this. Yeah. Have fun with my negative review of Spider-Man. All right, we're going to talk about Spider-Man, Brand New Day, Spider-Man, Brand New Spider-Man. I assigned my friend Graham to help me with this. He's Irish, so he's got a bit of an accent. But Graham, just... to give people a taste of where you stand on these things, just let us know how you feel about A, Spider-Man, but also B, the MCU as a whole. Because I think we're on different ends of this, but I think it's important that we establish that before we really get started.
In terms of Spider-Man, I think in terms of, do you mean Tom Holland Spider-Man
Or just,
subjectively, or
yeah, like Tom
Spider-Man as
Holland
like a,
Spider-Man, Spider-Man in general.
I think it's the most accurate movie portrayal that we've seen so far. Like, I think that there's a lot, obviously, because the Ultimate Comics were the sort of high school, like they're very much focused on that high school Peter. That we got a lot of influences from that in the Homecoming trilogy. There was a lot of problems with that trilogy itself. Spider-Man as a whole, I feel like they haven't released like a decent comic since probably the new Ultimate Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Life Story. I love Spider-Man Life Story.
Oh, I'm more on like this, where
Oh,
he's
I
like
forgot about
35
that.
and he
Yeah,
has like,
I
yeah,
forgot about
like
the Ultimate
kids and a
Run.
wife and
The new Ultimate
yeah, so the
Spider-Man that they did for like a
new
year and then
Ultimate,
Marvel killed it. I forgot about that.
yeah, and it was so good. So I feel like Spider-Man as a whole, this is really the only medium that we have besides the games that is giving us like any sort of, decent portrayal of Spider-Man. I feel like the MCU did ruin it for the first three movies based on the fact that well, it's no secret, it was like every single movie that you had from that Homecoming trilogy sort of was just there, like, be like, tune in next time,
Hmm.
like let's see what happens next time. It was always setting something up, especially like, No Way Home and obviously Far From Home. And Far From Home is one of my favorite Spider-Man movies of all time. Personally, I think it's better than the Toby trilogy. Don't fucking lance me in the comments.
I think
But
we need to draw and quarter you. That's insane. You think Far From Home is better than Spider-Man 2? Oh my god.
see,
If I put that clip on Twitter, they'd kill you. They'd bomb your house.
yeah, yeah, it's all about getting you the views. You know what I mean? Make us a YouTube short and be like, worst take ever, or no, best take ever, question mark, and just see your views
Best take
skyrocket.
ever. I mean,
Oh,
I
they're
don't
gonna bomb Ireland
like.
again. No,
I know we're here to talk about Brand New Day, but like Far From Home, I don't really like Far From Home, but I don't think it's like people talk about that movie like it killed their mom. Like people are insane about that movie. I don't even think it's the worst Spider-Man movie. I don't think it's the worst Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. But like I don't know, man. I don't even think it's better than Homecoming. You're telling me it's better than Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2? I might have to kill
see,
you.
the thing is that I grew up with Spider-Man 1 and 2, sort of like I never seen it in the cinema. I was too young. So I watched it like a year after it released each time. And I was like, yeah, because that was like the only Spider-Man media we had back then. in terms of movies. So obviously it was like great at the time, but I was too young to really like dive into the proper meaning, the whole
Mm.
Spider-Man no more and stuff like that. And I don't know. I rewatched it a few years ago and just like realized that like Tobey Maguire is not a good Peter Parker whatsoever. It is so hard to watch sometimes. Like the whole like, oh boy, yeah, what? And he's just staring at the camera for like 30 minutes
No,
as
I
if
love it.
like he's in a trance. And I'm just like, oh God, because he's a good actor. That's the thing. I've seen him in so many other things. Him in Brothers, especially, is really, really good. And it's been a while since I watched it, but as far as I could tell, like as far as I can remember, it's really, really good. But like in them Spider-Man movies, like I just I don't even know what he was thinking at the time.
I
And
think like a
also
lot of that
one
though,
thing
like that
I've
falls on Sam Raimi because like that's an actor who knows how to act. It's up to the director to tell him how to play it. So like your issue there
mm,
is with Sam Raimi, where I like that. I like that he's like this weird dorky guy that's never touched a girl before. Like I think that's such an interesting take on Peter because
so he's a Discord mod.
yeah. Like he's just it's just he's weird and he's awkward and he doesn't know what to do. But then he puts on the mask and he's just a different guy. Like there's a confidence to the way Toby plays it and I like that. And that dynamic, that disconnect, it only works if Peter Parker is a complete total fucking loser. So if he wasn't that dorky dumbass dweeb that he is, when he's Spider-Man, he'd only feel like a little cooler. Whereas like because of the way that Raimi has him written and played, he that jump from dorky loser Peter to Spider-Man, it feels so much more drastic and I love that. I think that's why it works for me personally. Whereas like with Andrew Garfield, he's kind of like he plays it similarly. He's a little subdued as Peter and then he's like annoying as Spider-Man and I didn't love that. But there is still that difference. But like with Tom Holland, he almost feels like the same guy in and out of it, which I think there is a charm to that. But I also do miss when there was like a different feeling between the two.
I will preface in saying though, because I've been thinking about the take I just had and how I am going to get Lance, and I want to make it very, very clear. The only reason why I love Far From Home as much as I do is because it takes Peter out of New York. You know what I mean? You have that thing in your mind where you're like, okay, well, what's he gonna do whenever he doesn't have like big ass skyscrapers to like swing off of? He's in the middle of Italy. You know what I mean? He's not going to swing off like the boats or the, the chalets. You know what I mean? Like it's one of them things where you're taking Spider-Man out of his environment, and it's very much like, okay, well, what do we do with a Spider-Man whenever he is in a place he's never been before? Whenever like there could be the opportunity for new villains there, like the Hydro Man scene,
Mm.
especially whenever it was Peter and he was doing his little jumps across the little poles and stuff and onto the bridge and Hydro Man's attacking. I'm like, that's new. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's fresh. It's something we wouldn't really see in New York because I feel that coming off Infinity War and Endgame, it was all just space, 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 space. Whereas we're putting him in like a European country and like he's got very little to work with there. You know what I mean? Like obviously he has the Stark tech and stuff like that, and he's going to be just fine in terms of surviving. But it's a new location for him, and it was interesting to bring him out of New York and place him somewhere that would present more challenges for Spider-Man because again he has nowhere to like swing off of. There's no skyscrapers in Italy. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Well, not in the movie anyway.
Yeah,
But the
I mean,
show
I
is so.
like the idea of like Spider-Man in Europe. I think that's kind of cool, but I think like in its execution, there's just too many things that I don't love. Like I don't know, I don't want to get into it. It's a lot. I need to. I would love to make like a proper like essays about all the Spider-Man movies. I have so many thoughts about all of them. I think they're all just like rich for discussion. But anyway,
Mm,
I think it's time for a brand new discussion about a brand new day, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Written by god damn it, hang on, I'm gonna look up their names. It's directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who also did Shang Chi. While I look up the names
the
of
goat.
these writers, what are your opinions on Shang Chi? Just briefly.
I loved it. I loved it. I think the only thing that let that movie down, and I understand that he's loved all over the internet,
Oh no,
but I think the only thing that let that movie down was, oh God, is literal name just
Simu
like went
Liu.
out of my head immediately. No,
Oh,
Fucking the Mandarin. Who do you
Oh,
call
Ben
him?
Kingsley,
Ben Kingsley, right? So
famous actor Ben Kingsley.
what is his name though? The other name? He has like a
Trevor,
civilian name.
Trevor.
Trevor Slattery. That is
Yeah.
it. I think that just like because I never liked him as a character in like the MCU, right? So whenever he appeared on the screen, I was like, oh no, not again. I was like, is this movie gonna be like one of these things where it like brings in this like random actor or random character into this peak movie and just totally change a different direction? I'm glad it didn't, and we'll get on to a discussion about the end of that movie and the end of every MCU movie in a bit.
Mm.
But that was one of them movies that required the big like CGI boss battle in the sky with the dragons and the ten rings and things like that. I feel that really required it. Whereas there's a lot of movies that don't. There's a lot of TV shows that don't. There's many TV shows that don't require a big CGI boss battle in the sky that had them. But in saying that, I think Shang-Chi is one of my favorite MCU movies just because it kicked off a new phase for me anyway. I know there was like little TV shows in between, but it kicked off a new phase in terms of this is a movie just about this one character in his little pocket of New York, in this pocket of his universe, and was like, let's just dive in and see who this person is. It wasn't like, oh, it's Shang-Chi and then there's like 50 different cameos everywhere. Like it was just a character study on this one character, and I got to know him and love him, but at the end of the day he's probably gonna get like marked immediately in Doomsday, which is fucking
Yeah.
hilarious.
I remember not liking it, but I couldn't tell you why. Like I don't like I remember coming out of it and going like, eh, but I don't remember why exactly. I should probably go back to it. I might
Hmm.
like it now. But anyway, Brand New Day is written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. They also wrote Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, and I think that is one of the core issues of these movies. But in terms of plot, Spider-Man: Brand New Day, it's about Peter Parker. He's still Spider-Man. It's been It's been like 4 years since No Way Home. Did they say? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. It's been
Time gap.
4 years since No Way Home. In the end of that movie, he had Doctor Strange do a multiversal spell that made everybody across the multiverse forget about Peter Parker, which has ramifications in other universes. So I don't know. It's a stupid spell. It doesn't make a lot of sense. That whole movie doesn't make a lot of sense. And we're feeling the ramifications of that still. But no one knows who he is, so he's back to being like back to basics Peter Parker, not really, but so to speak. And it's about him diving into his work, and he's still obsessed with his girlfriend from 4 years ago, who he dated for like 4 months. And he just hasn't gotten over it. And then there's a new threat that only he can sense, and he's got to take it down and save the day. And it's another MCU Spider-Man movie. If anyone can't tell by my tone, I didn't like this. I've seen it twice at the time of recording. I went on Thursday at a preview showing, and then Friday an opening night. Packed crowd. Both crowds clapped at the end of the movie, and I don't like that as is. I don't like when people clap in movies. Like I know it makes me sound such an asshole, but I'm like, no one's here. Tom Holland is not here. No one cares that you're clapping. Stop. Like, I don't like it. Like you clap at the end of a theater production, so the audience, like the actors know that you liked it. That's your giving them your approval. Tom Holland's not in the room with us. Stop. But anywho, I know I've seen like the discourse online. People are loving this. I'm hearing a lot of like, this is the most comic accurate Spider-Man we've ever had. This is the best Spider-Man movie there's ever been. Getting a lot of that. I fundamentally just didn't like this. I came out of it the first time saying like, that was okay. It's fine. I like parts of it. On a second viewing, I was like, no, I thoroughly didn't enjoy this. So I'm curious, like how you feel, because it's been a few days since you've seen it too. You saw it before me because Ireland gets things first. But
Yep.
have you changed your opinion from having like opening night seeing it to where you stand now after reflecting on it a little bit more?
It was a roller coaster, to be fair. Whenever I came out of the movies, I was like, that was great. That was really great. It sort of, again, it wasn't one of these movies that was like, setting up a big fucking
Oh, disagree.
doomsday
Hard
sort of like
disagree.
thing. Well, I think it sets up another Spider-Man movie. How they do that after Doomsday and Secret Wars, I've no idea because it depends on the ending of both them movies. But in saying that, in terms of like, setting up for like Doomsday itself, like the next movie coming and the next Avengers movie, beside the post-credit scene, I think this stood alone quite a bit. Um
Oh, also, I should
over
say we're gonna. Do you think we should do like full spoilers? I mean, everyone's seen this movie. Should we just do full spoilers?
I think if people are tuning in to hear a discussion about it, I think they've most likely either seen the movie and don't know how to feel and look at our opinion on it, look at somebody else's opinion, being like, "Am I allowed to like this or not?"
Am I allowed to
Um,
like it?
but yeah, does the internet say that I can like have an opinion on this? I seen it. Funny enough, sidetracking, but I seen Charlie Moist Critical. He put up a movie review, and somebody commented, being like, "Oh, cool, my opinion just dropped."
I
I
hate
was
I
like,
hate that
right,
so
okay,
much. Like people are
yeah,
actual cattle. Like the general audience of the world are just genuine cattle. They just wait for someone else to tell them how to feel. It's so annoying. But anywho, yeah, we'll just do
yeah,
full
but I think we
spoilers.
should.
Full spoilers. Jean
Mhm.
Grey's in the movie. It's an X-Men prequel movie. We're setting up the X-Men in a fucking Spider-Man movie. Oh my god, yay! I don't like that. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
See, I think it's good to introduce characters because here originally in No Way Home it was going to be America Chavez. Like that was early
And they
discussions for
were
that.
right to
And
not do that. They made the right call.
I mean, did they really treat her any better in Doctor
Well,
Strange
it's
2?
not a
Let's be
matter of
honest
that.
here.
It's I think it's different because like introducing her in Doctor Strange made like it makes more sense. Like that's a movie where they actively explore the multiverse. So introducing a character who is a part of that makes sense. Whereas in No Way Home, it's just a matter of the multiverse exists, but we're not going to explore it. We're not going to think about it. We're not going to do anything with it. It's there.
Mm.
It's a plot mechanism, and it's going to give us an excuse to do nostalgia bait. Whereas in Doctor Strange, like actively they do something with that. They go places. They physically go to a different area of the multiverse. Whereas in No Way Home, they don't. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense for this character to show up and be like, "Oh, hey, I can do that." Okay, bye. That makes a lot less sense.
But also for a character to step on like a pressure plate and have like
Oh, I'm not
their
defending
entire
it. I'm not
origin
defending
story
it.
told over
Multiverse of Madness isn't very good. I would
seconds.
never defend it.
Yeah,
It's written by a guy
dog
who
shit.
wrote from Rick and Morty, and you can tell. But like with
Mm,
Brand New Day, like we're kind of diving into like the back end of it, but the whole like
mm,
Jean Grey like prequel to the X-Men, setting up the X-Men thing. I in theory, in concept, I don't hate the idea. Like recently, Absolute Wonder Woman. I say recently. This was like 6 months ago. But Absolute Wonder Woman introduced the absolute version of Zatanna to the universe, and Zatanna is not a Wonder Woman villain, but they repurpose her to be a Wonder Woman villain. As a way of introducing her and her mythos into the wider universe, so it's a similar thing. Like there are examples of it in comic books. I mean, the Punisher debuted in Spider-Man comics. He is a Spider-Man villain originally, became popular, became his own thing. So like the idea is there. But I think the problem I have with it and what I have with the whole movie is it is called a Brand New Day, and it's marketed as a new step for Spider-Man. It's a new era for this version of Spider-Man. Like, we're going to be doing new things with him. It's a brand new day. And in the end of it all, it's just not. Like, we've got the same supporting cast. We have no new villains. We have no new status quo for him. He's just doing the same thing. It's a little different in the start, but by the end of it, we're approaching exactly where we were before. Like, we're supposed to be in the brand new day, but so little has changed, and we're still not doing Spider-Man villains. Tom Holland's Spider-Man has two proper villains. He's got Vulture, and he's got Mysterio. He has a handful of little ones here and there, but his actual own villains are Mysterio and Vulture. He doesn't like. No Way Home is all other people's villains. This one, the villain is an X-Men character. It's a mess, and I just felt that I wanted a Spider-Man movie. I wanted to go in and see like an actual Spider-Man movie utilizing Spider-Man lore and characters and the mythos that I love. And in the end of the day, what I got was an MCU movie that Spider-Man is in. And it's just it bothered me. And there's a lot to like in this
mm.
movie. If someone told me that they loved this movie, I would understand. I get it. The action's good, the swinging is good, Tom Holland's great. It's got a couple really heart-touching moments that I enjoyed, And I understand, like, if that's what you're looking for, fine, more power to you. But I wanted something more. I wanted Spider-Man
Mm.
movie, and I didn't get that. And it's left a really bad taste in my mouth because this is coming off the back of a trilogy that I already didn't care for. So I was hoping, like, finally, the fourth one, we're gonna get it right this time, and we didn't. And I just don't know if these Holland movies will ever work for me because I don't see them changing this formula. Each one of these movies is more successful than the previous one. Like, as they continue this trend of doing the same thing, making the same mistakes, they're getting more and more successful. Why would they change anything? Why would they do anything different? They don't have an incentive to. And I
Mm.
wonder, like, how much more can we do with this? And we already know that they're going to use this Spider-Man series as a way to set up Miles. So this whole Spider-Man series has just been like potential the movie each time. Like, oh, we're gonna set up the next Avengers thing. We're gonna set up the future of more Avengers stuff, and then No Way Home sets up the potential of actual Spider-Man. Like the end of No Way Home is like, wow, we're finally gonna do Spider-Man, guys. 3 movies. He wasn't Spider-Man yet, but he's gonna be Spider-Man the next time. And then we get to the fourth one. It's like, oh, we're setting up the X-Men. And then we go to the fifth one. No, wait, we're gonna set up Miles now. And then we get to the sixth one. He's gonna die, and then we have Miles going forward. Like, it's like, is that really this guy's legacy? Just potential the movie every time? I yearn for a time of no cinematic universes. Like, I want my movies to be movies and to not just be trailers for the
Mm.
next thing. I've grown so sick of it, and it makes me sad because I used to love the MCU. This was my shit back in the day, and like because I read comic books, like my friends would ask me all the questions, like, "Oh wow, like what does that mean? What is this? What's that? Blah 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 blah." And I used to love it so much. I used to love the theories and the trailer breakdowns and blah blah blah, and just to kind of lose my love for that makes me sad. I feel like I got lost like my childhood officially. But at the same time, I've also grown in my love for film and movies and what I look for in film, and I just don't find it here anymore. And so I know that you enjoyed this movie. I don't want to like kill your enjoyment. I'm not trying to kill your love for the movie, but I am curious, like, as a guy who does love Spider-Man and likes the MCU and liked this movie, I would love to hear your stance. Like, not necessarily your like defense of the movie, but just like where you
Yeah.
stand on it, why it connected with you, why you loved it, and maybe some of that can rub off on me. Maybe I'm wrong.
What I will say is this entire time that you have made these points, I've been like, shit, he's right.
Oh.
He's so right. Like, no, 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 no. Like, I will say it doesn't make me lack enjoyment for the movie. It doesn't turn me off what I enjoyed about the movie. But to hear a different opinion and to hear you express that in a way that's not entirely shitting on the movie. It's more just you being critical of it and being like, I wanted more from this. Because at the end of the day, they had such a solid campaign around this movie, solid promo. You were like, fuck, we're getting it this time. You know what I mean? To not, I can understand from your perspective why you're like, yeah, like, because even in the promo, all the comic books like reimagine this, that, and the other. But one thing I will say in defense of the movie and the MCU as a whole is we've seen the trend that the MCU takes with these movies. It's one of these things that if you're expecting, especially with them going into like the mutant saga and stuff, if you're expecting like just a Spider-Man movie, like the Maguire trilogy, you're not gonna get it. Like with the MCU, it's one of those things that if you aim too high, it's like, what did you expect? You know, like they're always gonna be setting something up. Inherently, I don't think it's as in your face this time as it could have been. Like I think they could have literally had Jean get that bus and like right up to them gates, right up to the
Right to
school
the
of
Xavier
gifted
School.
kids, and yeah, that. So the thing is that it could have been a lot more in your face, but it wasn't to me. The reason that I love this movie is actually less on the Spider-Man and more of the Peter Parker, because the more that he tries to be Spider-Man, the more Peter Parker is affected. So to see him as Peter Parker just absolutely done with life, like so angry at the world and see how it's changing him on the inside. I loved that. I really loved that. Now, as I say, one of my favorite comic books is Ultimate Spider-Man, right? The Bagley era of that. And whenever he's seen MJ and that guy, I forget what his name is,
Paul?
the boyfriend. No, it wasn't Paul. It
Paul's the new
was
one.
yeah, it's like big Zeke or Zach or something like that. Basically, whatever the boyfriend's name is, whenever they kiss in the apartment at the party, and Spider-Man goes swinging just in a blue shirt and a grey hoodie, I was like, that's like that panel from Ultimate Spider-Man, wherever he was like on the
Yeah,
football field with Venom,
it's
and I was
also
like, oh my
like
god,
it's
throwback,
also like
right?
Spider-Man 2, but like when he sees that Mary
Yeah.
Jane's engaged, and like I like that. Like that's a very human thing to see someone you love be with somebody else. Like that's a
Mm.
lot of people have experienced that, and it's not a fun thing. But I also felt like that was so they didn't do anything with it in Brand New Day. Like you see them one
Yeah.
time, and then he's just mentioned like two more times after that, and then the reveal is conveniently that she just doesn't care for him that much. That he's like, oh, he says I'm withholding. And he's like, yeah, your boyfriend sounds like an asshole. And she goes, yeah, and like, okay, well, that was easy. So like, and this comes back to my one of my biggest problems with this version of Spider-Man is that everything comes so easy to him. There's no that Parker luck. There's no cost to being Spider-Man. This one a little bit. Finally, there's a little bit of a cost to it. But there's like no struggle with the duality of Peter and Spider-Man and what that means for his life and the turmoil in it. The way that they do, and like I think Spectacular Spider-Man is the best non-comic adaptation of Spider-Man. That show nails everything. It's perfect. Um,
Mm.
but like in this movie, it's everything is still handed to him. Like he loses control of his powers one, maybe two times, and he's like, "Wow, I need to figure this out." So he creates a little chip that holds back the mutation, and he's fine. And then at the end of the movie, he takes it off, and he's just fine. He's just like, "Oh, I can do it," and he does it. There's no turmoil, there's no struggle, there's no trying to control it, and he can't do it for the longest time. He just can. He just figures it out because he decides to. MJ, like she's like, actually, I want to save the MJ thing because I think that's a
Mm.
mixed bag. I love some of it, I like some of it, I don't. But like the
Well,
boyfriend
one thing I
thing,
will say, yeah,
the
one thing I will
boyfriend
say
thing, I
about
just
that.
felt was so like lackluster. It's a good idea they didn't do anything with.
Mm. Well, one thing I'll say about that is, in terms of handing him things, I felt like it was almost better that she said, like, I just don't know who you are. Like, I don't love you. I don't have these memories that you seem to have. I'm sorry, you know? And that to me, it was great that we had that like fake out payoff of like the true love's first kiss on the Silver Main
Mm-hmm.
building, stuff like that. And I loved that they like were like, this is what we could have had, but no. And then you realize then it's Jane who's in the driver's seat for that. So we had that sort of like a fake out payoff, being like, we could have had this, but no, this is the direction we're going. And I love that, she could have found the note and been like, fucking, we'll try, sort of thing. But no, she didn't, and she
Well,
was like,
but they
she
are
just
going
shot
to.
him down immediately, and I
Yeah,
love that.
but they
I
are
love
going
that.
to try.
You
Like
know.
the implication is clearly that they are going to get back together. That in the end of the
Mm,
movie, like Ned might remember him, and she goes back to that place they used to be at, and she sits in the sunlight twiddling the necklace he gave her. Like the implication is very clearly they're going to get back together again, which nullifies
yeah.
the ending of No Way Home. And that was what I was hoping for. That choice he makes is they address that in No Way Home. It's probably my favorite part of that movie where he makes the choice for the wish and then he's about to tell her like I'm going to get her back. I'm going to try. And he's probably under the impression he'll have to work for it. And he decides like no, like your life is good without me. I'm okay with that. It hurts, but that's what has to happen because I'm Spider-Man. Like I'm giving you up for the job. And I thought that was a mature
And you know
take.
what? Yeah, I think it's beautiful in its own sense. What I will say, just to touch on the inhibitor, the way you explained it there actually makes it a lot more clear in my mind from what direction I think they were supposed to go. At the end of the day, movies are, it's subjective, it could mean one thing to one person, whatever. But from what I can see, it's like that mutation only grew whenever he was anxious, whenever he was having like basically a Spider-Man version of a panic attack, you know? So what I can see from that is that thematically, I think that was like a take on, you know, anxiety and sort of, I wouldn't say depression really, but he is quite low in this movie, and then to have the inhibitor feel fine and then to take it off when he realizes that he can be both, he can be Spider-Man and Peter Parker. It was almost a bit of a commentary on, like, being anxious, depressed, needing something, needing, say, an antidepressant to make yourself feel better, but then weaning off and being like, I don't need that anymore. I can, I'm
Yeah.
gonna flourish myself, sort of thing. The way you explained it there actually, like, sort of hit with me, being like that could be a potential of what they were trying to say through that. What I do feel is that, it was very much like, hey, you're like a big bad that can destroy the universe. Get into my mind and speak to Aunt May, sort of thing. And
Oh, I
it
didn't
was
like
very
that.
much like a redo of, yeah, it was very much like, oh, they're doing Thunderbolts again, I guess. Like,
I thought it
hey,
was,
let's all be
yeah.
friends.
It felt like the end of Thunderbolts, but not as good. Because like Thunderbolts, the whole point of that movie, it builds around found family and like finding friendship. Whereas like in this movie, I know that's Peter's arc, the idea that he needs people, that he can't do this alone, that he needs his friends. And I do want to talk about the supporting people like Hulk and Punisher. But like that being the way that it worked, I don't know. It felt too unearned maybe, for it to just be this memory of Aunt May being like, oh hey, again, like Aunt May being like, oh, you're Spider-Man, I'm cool with that, I don't have any problems with that at all. Why?
I feel like we should have had a lot more of, like, the start of Far From Home definitely should have been like Aunt May adjusting to Peter's new life. You know what I mean? She was just suddenly cool with it, throwing bananas at him and fucking packing the suit and
Yeah,
stuff like
and
that,
now we know
as
that
if it was
even
just like,
before all of that, she was also super cool with it from the very beginning. Which like null, it's just I don't like this Spider-Man. I don't like how everything's given to him. I don't like the lack of drama in his life. I don't like the lack of turmoil. Everyone who knows he's Spider-Man is just fine with it. There's never like a like I like the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show has a great example of it, where he has to keep it from his friend Nico, and then when she finds out there's actual consequences for it, she feels that she's been lied to, deceived, decepted, and it means something, and it's something they need to work through. It's dramatized. And she knows she's wrong for feeling it that way, but she's also can't help the fact that she's hurt by it. And it's interesting character work. And in this version of Spider-Man, it's just like everyone knows I'm Spider-Man, everyone's cool with it, everyone's completely fine with my life choices, there's nothing to worry about. It's just very uninteresting. And even in this one, like so many people know he's Spider-Man again. Like Punisher now knows, the doctors at that hospital know, like a bunch of people know. MJ knows again, like a bunch of people know, and it causes no problems. It's just fine.
well, in terms of like the comparison with Nico in that show, like MJ did get the note and she was like, "Were you ever going to tell me? Like, why did you think that you could make that decision for me?" You know what I mean? That sort of thing. And she was quite hurt about it. But then it was like, "Oh shit, gotta get to the final act. Anyway, bye bye bye."
Yeah, it's the
Like,
pacing is
go
weird in
stop
this
Jean
movie.
Grey now. Yeah, yeah. What I did love though, in terms of supporting characters, um, whenever they were just sitting there, like, I think they were building Lego together and they were just like piling it up like old times. I'm like, fuck, I could have done with a lot more of this, like, in the last three movies. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think Tom Holland's Zendaya and Jacob Batalon are incredible together on screen as Ned, Peter, and MJ. I think they thrive. We just needed to see more of them in the last three movies, because, like, just them sitting around joking about, and him in the Spidey costume and stuff like that, like, it was it was really nice. It was a nice break of this fast paced action, but it did feel a bit like character development. You know what I mean? I do think that actually, goes into the end of the movie where he's like, Peter, what? And people are thinking like possibly he's remembering his friend, but I think now, like, having a few days to like dwell on that, I think potentially because Zendaya or MJ called or Spider-Man Peter,
Yeah.
I think that's maybe the what he's going to do, and he's going to be now his Genki. I
He
think
was already
because
his
there
Genki
has been
though.
too many.
Like that's
Yeah,
all he's
yeah,
always
but
been.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like he's
So
gonna
then,
fit
like
into
when we
that
get to
role where he's
Miles,
like,
like is Miles gonna have his Ned? Is he not gonna have Genki? I mean, to be fair, Spider-Verse Miles doesn't really have Genki. Like he does, but he doesn't. Like it's just like so much of this version of Spider-Man. It's so far away from the Spider-Man that is, I don't know, proper Spider-Man. There's no Daily Bugle.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah, there's no Daily Bugle. He doesn't actually have MJ. It's Michelle Jones. He doesn't actually have Mary Jane. He doesn't have Harry Osborn. Oscorp doesn't exist. He can't. They can't now do Dr. Connors or Sandman or any of the No Way Home villains because they would be. Why would you? It's all a mess, and I struggle to look forward to where this all goes because I mean they're gonna have to do like Clone Saga. Actually, I'd like the Clone Saga. They're gonna have to do Symbiote Saga again, like the 10th time, which I know you like, but I'm sick of it. But like
I just want to see like Tom Holland do what he did to Scorpion to everybody. Like somebody
but that's
robs a
another
bank
thing.
and
Are
he
they
just
just gonna
breaks
do it
every
again?
bone.
Yeah, and I know, but like, are they?
That's what I said to Holly in the theater. I literally went there. I was like, okay, we're kind of seeing like the symbiote arc. I wonder if they're even going to do it at this point. You know what I mean? Because
I
they
mean,
did it with
it,
like him losing control and like hurting a cop.
I think
And
they could do it though. I think it could work because
yeah,
we've now seen in two movies that there is a darkness in this Peter Parker. There's something in
but what does
him.
he have left to lose?
No, but
What
I
does he
mean,
have
like,
left to
it
lose? He
doesn't. He
lost
doesn't have anything to
everything. He
lose. But I mean,
lost
like,
him.
there's something inside him that when he's pushed,
Yeah.
he will snap. Like when he beats the shit out of Goblin, he almost kills him. When he pummels Scorpion, like there's something inside him that there is like an animalistic rage to this Peter that if you pushed him enough, he'd snap and he'd do something horrific. But I also
Oh,
know this version of Spider-Man, they wouldn't go that far. Like in the era of movies we're in now, Sony is not going to let their Spider-Man push any real buttons. They're not going to let him like actually almost kill a guy. He's too soft. He's too boyish. They're not going to let it happen.
which
It's
is
just not.
exactly why we need it.
No,
But
I
that's
know,
the
but I
thing.
don't
Like
think
he
they would
almost did
commit.
that to Scorpion.
I don't think they
Yeah.
commit. I think like the darkest thing symbiote Peter does in Spider-Man 2 the game is he calls Harry a crackhead. That's like the darkest thing he does as the symbiote, and that's nothing. He doesn't like
MJ.
he doesn't almost kill Craven. He doesn't almost kill Miles. He fights Miles, but it's like he doesn't. The darkest thing he does, he calls his best friend a crackhead. Like, that's it. Like, it's so strange to me that they won't actually commit to him damaging his reputation or something, or there being like meaningful consequences for Peter. He just feels so coddled, and still in this one, he still feels. It just feels like the world is handed to him on a platter. Whereas like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I felt had a really meaningful kind of stance on something similar with Peter and Gamora.
More.
How he's pining for her. He never stopped loving her, but it's not her. It's a different her. And so when it comes time and he's still like wanting her, and you can see there is chemistry there because they are them. He lets her go, and he says like, and she has that I bet we were fun moment, which is heartbreaking, but it's him maturing and realizing like I'm not going to have you. I have to let you go. It hurts, but it has to be done. And then this Spider-Man, it's like, oh, nope, don't worry. They're going to get back together. Don't even worry about it. That girl he dated for like 4 months, 4 years ago, don't even worry about it. It's going to be fine. And I think that's lame. In a different non-superhero example, Mission Impossible. I don't know if you've seen all the Mission Impossibles. But in the third one, Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt, he gets married, and then he decides that in the fourth one that like we can't be together because of I have to save the world. I just have to do it. We can't. You'll never be safe. And then we find out in the sixth movie that she's remarried. She has a new life now because she couldn't wait for him. And he lets her go, and he decides like I understand. It hurts, it breaks my heart, but I get it. Like you have to live your life. I got to save the world. We can't be together. And that's such a mature stance on that. But Brand New Home's message is, that's right, pine for that girl you lost 4 years ago. Follow her on Instagram. Have notifications on when she posts. Stalk her if you have to. Don't even worry about it. She's going to love you in the end. And I think that's just such a childish message.
Mm. I do understand what you mean. Yeah.
But I also believe in love, and
See,
I understand. Like Peter and MJ should be together, so I'm kind of conflicted. I think narratively it's stupid, but at the same time, yeah, of course Peter and MJ should be together. So I'm torn.
I think I think they should be friends.
Mm.
Like that entire group should be friends. Um, I think that it's going to be difficult for Peter because or by proxy, like this other guy, the boyfriend, is going to also be around while he's around being friends with like MJ and stuff.
They
Um,
should have made her married. She should have
I
been married.
desperately, mm, I don't know if Mary would be because they are still quite young. You know what I mean? Like it's
My
4 years
sister
out
got
of high
married when she
school.
was like 20. She got divorced in less than a year, but she did it.
Yo, big ups. Um,
But like I don't know. I think if
um,
she was more, or even if she actually loved her boyfriend, like she really earnestly loved him, there was no doubt she was in love with this guy. Like I think that would be more conflicting for Peter. That like because then he's torn between like I love you, but I also like you're happy, and I don't want to ruin that. But I think that's a level of maturity these movies are not willing to grapple with.
mm, yeah, I get what you mean. Like this, this was giving him such an opportunity, and maybe in the future they will do it, and they'll keep them just like I don't know, friendly enough. Like maybe she becomes like his guy in the chair or something. I don't know, but which would be a stupid idea. But you know, the MCU fucking
Make her
they have to
Venom.
get
Make her Venom. Like
yes,
in the comics when
yes,
MJ was Venom. Make her
yeah.
Venom. Do it.
um, yeah, I think they have the opportunity here if they keep them just friends to give us a Betty Brant, give us a Gwen Stacy. You know, it's
Why
hard to
not
give a
introduce
Betty Brant
Gwen
because
Stacy? Like I feel
the
like that this is the time for it.
it would give him something to lose. I guess, like in terms of Betty Brant, you can't do it because the Bugle is a podcast. Like I know you said there's no Bugle in the MCU. It is. It's a podcast now. It's Alex Jones,
That's so lame.
which I'm so surprised that we didn't hear like over like maybe he has a police radio and then he has like an actual like radio or like an online thing that he listens to and it's just like Jonah like
Oh, like
his
the
weekly
game.
updates of like things Spider-Man and stuff. Yeah. Like that would be cool to like keep him there, keep Jonah like sort of in the background, but still like have him as like, hey, this guy. So I think Gwen would be good, but I feel like you can't just introduce her and then by the end of the movie kill her. You need to have almost what the Amazing Spider-Man 2 had, build up that character. Like I love Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I know people hate that movie with passion. I think that the romance feels so real. It almost reminds me of like the cheesy rom-coms of the 2000s, but
Yeah,
with Spider-Man
that's why
mixed
I don't
in.
like it.
But it just
That's why
it
it
feels
bothers me.
authentic though.
It kind
You know
of
what I
does,
mean? Because
but I think
yeah.
the way to do it though is you introduce Gwen Stacy and you keep like threatening to kill her off. Like villains keep almost killing her, but then you just don't kill her off. Like you just never do it because we've seen it. The audience will always be expecting it. So you keep putting her in scenarios where she's like thrown off a building or something, but he catches her every time. And
But
then
they've already done that twice with MJ though.
yeah,
That's the
I
thing. It's
know.
like
But I also
I
like
just want to go on a
I just think
like
like
a
that'd be the only way to do it. To introduce Gwen, threaten to kill her, but never actually kill her. I also think it'd be really funny
mm,
because it's another nail in the coffin of why Andrew's a bad Spider-Man. Not like in performance, just like he's bad at being Spider-Man.
yeah. I just don't think with this symbiote arc unless they go down the route of keeping him in the symbiote for like 2 movies until we like find something to like really push him over the edge. Because I don't think a villain is
Clone
going to push him over the
Saga,
edge.
Clone Saga.
Is that going to push him over the edge though?
I don't care about him getting pushed over the edge. I want him to see. I want to see two Tom Hollands on my screen. Make him kiss.
Um,
Let's after this next thought, where I do want to talk to you about the action sequences. So finish your thought, and then we're gonna talk about the action.
yeah, I just feel like No Way Home set up like such like they had a home run there in terms of he has lost everything. Let's introduce the symbiote at the end of this movie and push maybe back the progression of the MJ and Ned thing until the end of the second movie. Maybe him go nuts, fucking lose the symbiote, have to like fight Venom at the end of the movie, and then like the end scenes of the movie is like him realizing like, oh, I do need friends around me because this like alone superhero business is too big for me, sort of thing. Like I need a support system, and then he like obviously they're in the background of that movie, but then by the end of it, it's sort of like him easing his way back into Peter Parker, and then I don't know, post credit scene is like, hey, I'm the new college student Miles, nice to meet you, sort of.
I
I don't know, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
genuinely think the symbiote, the black suit arc can't be done at this point. Like it's no one's done it right except for the
Mm.
original 80s comic. And that comic is so specific to its era and what it was trying to do with Peter and the relationships he had with like the Fantastic Four and the stuff happening on Battle World and like all of that. It's so specific to that story. You either have to do it exactly the same or just don't do it at all. And like every adaptation of it, I think gets it wrong in a different way. I don't know. I'm over it. I don't really want to see it done anymore. Quite frankly,
Mm.
I don't know. I know
I
that
just want a
they're
new
going
hot
to do
toy.
it in what'd you say?
I just want a new hot toy.
I
I just want a new
know.
symbiote suit to like look at and be
And I know
like,
they're gonna do
yes.
it in
Like,
what's that show? Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man season 2. So I don't know. Maybe
doesn't
that'll
look
be the
good.
one.
No.
Maybe that'll be the first time they get it right. Maybe who knows? Because I like that show for the most part. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Action sequences. What are we thinking?
I think the action's good. It's just all in the trailer. Same with the web swinging. It's all in the trailer. And like looking back at it, I think what I was thinking was like, wow, this is so good. I bet they're holding out on us. There's probably a lot more they're not showing us. Nope, it was all there. They have the ending
Yeah,
of the
like
third act fight when he does like that web spinning tornado thing, which is really cool. But it's in it's the money shot of the trailer. Why would you spoil that?
I think that's why I liked the Peter Parker dynamic and like all of his friends and stuff, like
Because you've
all
seen the
that
rest of it
story.
online.
But yeah, because I've already watched half the movie.
Yeah.
And this is something that I want to maybe touch on at the end of this, but
Wait.
um
I just remembered something. Silk is in this movie. I just remembered that.
yes,
Silk is in this movie
Cindy
and no
Moon.
one is talking
Cindy Moon
about
in
it.
college.
I just remembered that.
Yes.
Cindy Moon is in this movie and no one is talking about it. I just remembered that. I remember sitting there and going like, that's Silk, and no one gave a fuck. Hang on, keep talking. I have a Silk comic. I'm gonna get it. I love Silk. Keep talking.
No, screw it. Screw it. Screw it. 10 out of 10 movie. Absolute cinema. Yes, that's right. Silk is in this movie in college. That could be the new Miles. Maybe Miles doesn't, or maybe Cindy Moon could be like Miles's girlfriend
I love
in the
Silk.
comics.
I love
Oh,
Silk.
I
I
did.
love
Yeah,
Silk
no,
so much.
Silk is.
I would absolutely love for this to be where they go with it. If they decided for the next one, like, oh, by the way, we're doing Silk. She gains her powers. She's inspired. Like, oh, I have these abilities. I'm gonna go team up with Spider-Man, and we get like a Batman Robin thing. Oh my God, yes, please. I love Silk. I just remember that Silk is in this movie.
That would actually be really good because there's no movie that has ever even touched on that. Nowhere close. I know Spider-Man 2, the game, is going to go that direction,
Yeah,
which
she's
maybe
teasing that,
maybe
isn't
that's
she?
what they've been planning all along. Like every single time that the
How is
game
she?
or the movies do something, you see it in like the opposite media
Yeah.
for some reason.
How is she? I forgot.
um,
How is she teased in Spider-Man 2? I remember she was. I just can't remember how.
so it's Aunt May's new boyfriend. Oh no no
Yeah, and
no!
he shows
It's
up and
not. What
he's
am I talking about? It's Miles Morales. Rio's new boyfriend.
yeah, his
That's
daughter
right.
is Cindy Moon. That's right.
Yeah. I'd really like him to be like part of a like the head of a criminal gang or something. Just like fuck it up. You know what
Yeah,
I
but
mean?
I remember like
Just to mix it up.
because I remember there it was never officially confirmed, but there's a young Asian girl in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and it was always like the idea that that was Cindy Moon. That because they go to high school together. Like her origin is that she is bit by the same spider that bites Peter. That
Mm.
it bit him, crawled away, bit her, and then it went and died somewhere. That was the original like retconning of his origin and her origin. So they'd have to have been classmates if you want to follow that. Hang on, I'm not gonna get into it. I had some things to say. I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to talk about the hypothetical origins of this Spider-Man. It's a conversation for a different day.
Yeah.
But
Let's
I
let's
am
get on to a brand new
I
tangent
am
in
curious
terms
though. Like
of
That interests me way more than like, oh, what's gonna happen to the about the X-Men, what's going on with the Hand, what's going on with blah blah blah. That, like, the Spider-Man stuff really interests me, and the idea that Damage Control like has all of his villains technology and they've been studying it, that's cool. But that would have been a great opportunity to bring back Tinkerer. Be like, oh, Phineas Mason's been in prison, but he's got a great eye for this shit. He works for us now. And like that would be turmoil for Peter, like this guy who helped create the Vulture and the Shocker. He's now working with Damage Control. Like, that would add some shiftiness to who they are, and I thought that would have been really cool. How did Scorpion get made
I
in
do
this
like
universe? Like how, like who did that? What's Tombstone's deal?
Homecoming.
No, I know that, but I mean,
Homecoming.
like
So
Scorpion's origin is that J. Jonah Jameson helps fund the creation of Scorpion because he wants something to kill
yeah,
Spider-Man. Like that didn't happen in this universe, or maybe it did, but we didn't see it. Who built that tale? What's
so
going on there? I wanted
the Vulture
Spider-Man
did.
stuff. I wanted a movie about Spider-Man fighting Spider-Man villains, not the least interesting X-Men.
Yeah, so in Homecoming, Vulture and Tinker are talking about the Gargan project. They were like, "Are we still doing the one for
Well,
Gargan?"
they're
And they
doing
were
the
like, "Yeah,
Gargan
yeah,
deal.
yeah."
Yeah, they're
That's
selling him
the,
stuff.
yeah, 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 yeah. So that was pretty much where that came from. But in saying that, yeah, like I do understand that that could be a huge problem for many people. I don't know, man. There's just so much. Do you know what? There's so much to love about this movie. Like the more that I think about it, because I haven't seen it twice, I've only seen it once, but I came out being like, that was great. Then I went to, is it mid, or was it just all right? But the amount of heart that I'm remembering about this movie, the way that, even the first swinging sequence, like that was straight out of Insomniac's like universe. Like it genuinely, like there was finishing moves that he was doing on Scorpion, on the Hand. Like he was doing so many things that we've seen. I think actually Tom Holland came out and confirmed that like he looked at the finishing moves of that game
Yeah, and Destin
and
Daniel
like
Cretton
was
said
like,
that he had like his crew. They would go home, play the game, and they would record like clips and stuff, and they come into work the next day and say, "Hey, we want to recreate this." Like, I think that's all
okay,
cool. But you know what else would have been? I'm gonna be like an asshole right here. But you know what else would have been really cool? Ask me what.
mm,
What if they took inspiration from the comics? What if they took inspiration from the decades of comic books and instead, like, oh, we recreated a cover from a comic book. We Googled Spider-Man comic covers and we recreated them. Does that make us comic accurate? Does it? No, it doesn't. It's annoying. I want, like, oh, I miss when Spider-Man movies were
promo.
Spider-Man movies. I think, like, because I watched all the Tom Holland movies this past week. I did Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, and then the day after I did Brand New Day. I did like one a day. So going through like all of them and being like disappointed each and every time, I think broke something inside me. There's something in my brain now that's just snapped, and I just I want to love this movie. You know how excited I was. I was so fucking hyped for Brand New Day because the marketing looked good. Everything they talked about sounded so good. Like a return to classic Spider-Man. Absolutely, please. And it wasn't. It was an MCU movie. And I know you've said this and you're not wrong. Like what were we expecting? Like truly, honestly, why did we expect anything else? But I don't know. I was just hopeful it'd be different, and then it wasn't.
Yeah. I Again, it's one of those things where there's so much like that they could have just went, no, we're not doing it, but they did. For example, the comic covers. For example, the team ups.
All in the trailer, by the
Which
way.
you could. Yeah, yeah. Well. Besides one. Besides
No, they put that
one
in a
scene.
reel. The Tombstone one's in a reel. You can see that whole thing online.
Oh no, no, no. I was talking about Yelena, but
Oh, the Elena one. Oh, I forgot she's the name of this. Yeah, he just has like Elena's Zoom link.
but in saying that, like you know, it for me, it felt like a Saturday morning cartoon. It felt like Spider Man and his amazing friends, and it was very much like the '90s animated show where there would be these other people in New York that are going, oh shit, this thing is like like this tank is like coming across New York City, right? Get the Punisher on it. Oh, Spider Man's already here. Oh, they interact. You know what I
I
mean? That
will
sort of thing.
say that I really
Um,
liked. I liked how lived in this
yeah,
world feels. It's a like, and you said
yeah,
this to me when you saw it. Like, it's a world where the Punisher lives down the road from you and Hulk is your teacher. And I love the idea of that. That is such a cool idea. Like in the comics right now, Matt Murdock is a teacher. Like I think that's really fun. Like he's not a lawyer anymore. He's a teacher at like some university. But the idea of like these different Marvel characters that are just occupying the world in like their day to days and stuff like that, I think is really cool and fun. Yelena likes being a celebrity. Like Ned and MJ are like, oh my god, that's Black Widow. Hi. And she's like, oh hey, a fan. Like I think that's really cute. I like the idea of New York feeling like this little ecosystem of superheroes. I could have
mm,
done with a Daredevil mention, just to be like, after the fall of Wilson Fisk or something like that. And I think that maybe is another issue, like the MCU synergy thing. Like we just went through Daredevil, which was like, oh wow, Wilson Fisk took over the entire city. The whole city's at his under his control with the his task force. And there's just like no one, like there's no mention of that. There's no mention of Daredevil single handedly stopping that. Not a real complaint. I just, if we're going to connect this so thoroughly to the MCU, wouldn't have hurt.
yep.
I will ask you though, and I think I know the answer to this, and I'm curious. What did you think of the Punisher in this? Because like the Punisher, he went from Daredevil to the Punisher show. You actually watched all that really recently. So like the Daredevil, the Punisher series, and then Punisher reboot, and then One Last Kill. What did you think of like all of that growth, and then leading to where we are with Frank Castle right now? Go ahead. I'm very curious.
Very happy.
Okay.
Very happy because they could have, again, there was so much about this movie that they could have genuinely watered down, like in terms of all them characters being like, a bit of a support system that aids Spider-Man in this journey rather than just jumping in for 2 seconds as a cameo and then never seeing them again. With the Punisher, I feel like they never dulled him down whatsoever. Yes, he didn't get to say, the F word or whatever, but like he was still frank, he was saying
Interesting.
bullshit like
Interesting.
24/7. He was like, I
Hmm.
really liked actually I feel like they didn't dull him down. I feel like, the comedy where it was there in terms of like, there was one joke I said to you that I absolutely loved, and it's whenever
Oh
Hulk is
yeah.
webbed up and they're sitting being like, I should have brought a bigger gun. It's like, what are you gonna do? Take him to death? And then they
Yeah.
turn around and he escapes and Frank just goes, oh
my
shit.
my favorite
Right.
part
I
of that
thought that
is
was
he's
hilarious.
Peter's like, you gotta get the fuck out of here, man. Like he's like, this is way above your pay grade, and Frank's like, no, we're all right, and he turns around and he screams, oh shit, and I that is also my favorite joke in the movie, because I love
Yeah.
the idea of the street level guys being thrown into this kind of shit. Like, what if you took Daredevil and you made him fight, you made him fight Doctor Doom? Like, yeah, okay, he'd die immediately, but it's funny. Or like, what? How, like the Punisher up against Hulk, he's going to die instantly. So how do we write around that? Well,
Mm,
Spider Man's there, and he's going to save him, and that's fun.
yeah.
But again, it's all in the trailer. Like that entire interaction's
Yeah.
in the trailer. Um,
What I loved most of all about their dynamic is in the boat. That scene
oh,
specifically
I
where
had issues
Tom
with
was
that.
like,
I mean, I have issues with Punisher in this in
really?
general. I think it's weird
Really?
that like this Punisher, the one that we've followed since Daredevil season 2, like he's known, like the world knows Frank Castle's the Punisher. He's on the news. He's known. Like the world knows that. There's no ambiguity to that. The world knows him. He's a fucking lunatic. Like he's an absolute psychopath. And Spider-Man and him are just besties. Like, oh, I'm gonna beg Jean Grey not to kill a person, but I'm best friends with Mr. Mass Murderer. Like I just thought that was so tonally inconsistent. And even like MJ, like the world knows him. You don't know the Punisher, the guy who killed like an entire crime family and like their close friends like a month ago. Like that's just fine. You're not a little scared by this guy. I could have I understand the idea that he would take a liking to Spider-Man, whereas like he respects Matt Murdock, but he likes Spider-Man. I think that's cool.
Mm,
But he just felt like guy with gun. Like it didn't feel like the Punisher. He didn't have like that anger in that.
really?
I didn't see it. And he smiles too much. He Punisher wouldn't sit by Spider-Man's bedside at the hospital. He'd drop him off as a courtesy and he would leave. Uh
right, hold on. Spider-Man is a 17-year-old kid, right? And
Not
Punisher
anymore.
has a
Not
soft
anymore.
spot.
Not anymore. Because he's what? He's 18 in No Way Home. He's 22. He's spent 4 years since No Way Home, so he's 22.
Right, okay, but right, think about it this way. Punisher season two, Amy was probably around the same, right? Around the same age, or at least like acted like it, right? So the thing is, well, no, she was supposed to be like 16 or
I think she's
something,
like 16.
and that it's something like that, right? But anyway, the whole consensus is Punisher has a soft spot for like young people with heart, and also like if he sees somebody like who could potentially be like a son, a daughter, you know what I mean, something to somebody in that regard, like it will impact him, you know what I mean,
Mm.
the fact that he killed somebody that, as you said, he likes, but also the fact that it's somebody young trying to be out here making a difference, but also, somebody who he'd be like, oh my, my son could have grew up to be like this, you know what I mean, a better man than me,
Mm.
you know what I mean, choosing better ways of
Yeah,
dealing with
yeah,
these things
yeah.
than violence, because the Punisher even says, he says he doesn't like to kill. He's
I.
addicted
You're
to it
right.
though.
No, you're
And I
you're
know, I
absolutely
know, I
right.
know that that's not the way the comics
Yeah,
are.
that's where I
I
was gonna go with that. You're
understand that.
absolutely right. And
Yeah.
I think my core issue is I don't like this version of the Punisher. Like he's such a
Mm,
pussy. Whereas like you're
yeah.
no, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's what I okay. Yeah, no, you're right. This version of the Punisher, he is consistent. Yeah, okay, you're right. I am
Hmm.
just so torn on. I want comic Punisher. And it's weird because in Daredevil season 2 and even Born Again, that is comic Punisher. That's him through and through. And then when he's in his own thing or something else that's not Daredevil, he's just a different guy. I didn't like how much he smiled. Punisher shouldn't smile. He should be sad.
He doesn't deserve to be happy.
Doesn't deserve
But
to be
that's the
happy.
thing.
No,
That's
he's
why I liked on
awful.
the
He's an
boat.
awful guy, and everyone hates him. That's the point. Like the point of the Punisher is that he's the worst person, and the only reason that anyone like doesn't beat the shit out of him immediately is because he's kind of effective. Like he's a guy with a gun who's really good at what he does. So yeah, you'd be like, okay, in this one scenario, I could probably use the help. I'll let this slide. But other than that, everyone hates him. Like there's that part. I think it's Civil War, which they also recreate the cover, the panel from that where he carries Spider-Man to the hospital. He shoots him with a sniper rifle. That's from Ultimate Spider-Man. So I guess they read a couple comics. But there's like that part where he's like, "Oh, Captain America, I'm your biggest fan. I love you," and he's like, "Get the fuck away from me." Like that's the kind of energy I wanted with MCU Punisher, and they just haven't done that yet. They're like, "Oh, my
But
buddy Frank."
I feel like in season one of the Punisher, it was like that, and then Micro sort of,
I love
they worked
Micro.
together, and then they started. Oh, same, same. I wish he had a return in season two.
Well, he's
I
the
wish
thing.
he had a return. Yeah. But in saying that, like they had him there, and then I feel like the trajectory that that character went on is, yes, he's still a badass who will kill people, but instead of killing people for fun, he kills the people that are putting the people that he cares about and has learned to care about in danger, because it is so difficult for him to open up that he's like, fuck, I've opened up to this human and now their life is being threatened by either my mistakes or their dumb mistakes. I need to fix this so the one person that I can actually connect to in this world doesn't fucking die on
Mm.
me again. You know what I mean? Like, um, I don't know. I feel like in Brand New Day, he was well done for, think about it, what they could have done versus what they did do. I feel like they went the right direction around it. Again, I'll go back to this boat scene where he specifically says, like, Peter Parker is like, I'm choosing to shut her out because, like, I think it was something about the mask or something. He was like, you never take the mask off in front of
Yeah.
her, and he was like, I can't put her in danger. I'm shutting people out on purpose. And he's like, I'm just like you. And Frank was like, do you think this is a choice? This is a
Yes.
sentence. This is
Yes.
where my life
No.
has
No.
ended
I
up.
hated that
And
so
I was like,
much.
yes.
No. Punisher,
No,
no, he
hi.
likes that. Like the thing about Frank Castle, he loves killing people. He loves it. He gets such a kick out of it that he's almost happy his family's gone. He can just do this forever. Like there's, I forgot which one it is, but there's one version of his origin where when he takes his family to the park and they're caught in the shooting, he's there to divorce his wife. He's there to tell her like, I don't want to be with you anymore. I want to divorce you. And then they die, and he's like, oh, thank fuck. I don't have to have that conversation. Like he's awful. He's a really bad person, and they need to.
Is he just Jeanette McCurdy?
Yeah, he's
Like, not saying
yeah. I'm
she's a
glad
bad
my wife
person, but
died.
the whole like.
No, but like when he's like, you think this is a choice? You think if my family was alive, I'd go back? No, Frank. You'd say, get the fuck away from me. I want to kill people because I suck and I'm awful. Like I understand.
Jesus.
You're right. No, you're right. This version of the Punisher, he would want that and say that. You're absolutely right. But I just think it's so much funnier when he's a terrible person and he's just like, no, I hate my bitch wife. I want to kill people.
Whereas I feel like this Punisher, again, different adaptations, 100%. But I feel like this Punisher is very like, my wife died, my kids died. Like, woe is me.
I'm
All I
sad,
wanted was
and
a
they
normal
cry at their
life. But
grave.
like, yeah, like all I wanted was a normal life, and now I realize I can't have that because everybody I come across that I connect with is in danger.
Mm.
So like, this is my sentence. This is where this has ended me up now. That I am so like, because as I said, like he doesn't like to kill people. This version, he is addicted to it. He has to, right? It's like what you were saying, that thing itching at Peter Parker, that darkness inside him. It's very much like that for Frank, I feel. And you know, it is different, yeah. But I think that that's why the team up with Spider-Man works, because if Frank, like in the MCU, if Frank doesn't have to kill somebody, he won't. He only does it ever. If you look back at season two, season one, and I know what you're saying. I know you hate it, but he only ever kills people whenever it affects the people around him that he cares about. Anybody who like if it affects somebody else, like all of Amy's friends, episode 2 or 3 of season two, like they all die and he shows no remorse. He's just like, yeah, let's go grab her bags, I'm kidnapping you, right? It's the whole thing. But at the same time, like, then once he gets that development with her, then like she's in danger, and he comes and kills like an entire like militia for her. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's one of those things where it is quite self-centered, but I feel like this Frank is self-centered. He's like, I have nothing, so what I do have I will keep as close
Mm.
to me as possible. And I think that's why the Spider-Man thing works, because and I think that Punisher came into these series of movies at the right time, because Spider-Man has nothing, Punisher has nothing. So even if they didn't like each other, again, as you said, they're extremely effective. So it's one of those things where they have to like each other for the big, like, for the cause in general. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um,
I do
I,
like the way
I
all the
thought it
supporting
was
characters like bounced off of Peter. Like you said, like Punisher, he has nothing. He pushes everyone away, like Peter, and through him, Peter realizes that's wrong. Bruce Banner is repressing the monster inside of him, and he can't control it. So through that, Peter learns like I can control it. I can be better. Jean Grey is angry at the world and alone and lost someone she loved, and feels so slighted by
mm,
that people need to suffer for it. And through that, she learns from him that that's the wrong thing to do because he already learned that lesson. Like, I think all of that is really good. I liked all of that a lot. The way that the characters are designed around Peter himself. He's the core of the film, so all the characters are in there to service him. I liked that a lot. I thought that was all really well done. That's like the first nice thing I've said about this movie, but I really did like that.
yeah, like what I will say, and this is one of the notes I have, it was very busy, but never felt like too much in
Mm.
terms of like characters.
I'd agree with
You
that.
had Ned, MJ, Yelena, Punisher, Hulk, Bruce Banner,
I
like,
would
because
say
they're
that
two different people.
I could do
Um,
without like a little bit of it. Like I also don't like Ned and MJ. Like if they weren't here and we had like a brand new day with new people, I'd be okay with that. But I also think that for what they are like here for, it's fine. It works.
you're gonna hate this, and you can take it out of the
Oh
recording if you want.
no.
But whenever I think you know what I'm gonna say here.
I'm
Whenever
scared.
I found that absolute cinema meme last night on my camera roll, my girlfriend literally turned to me and went, he looks kind of like Ned.
I get that a lot actually. Like I work with kids, and like the kids tell me that. I also get
Unreal. So you
I
are
get that
officially the CEO.
I get that, and I get Bobby from K-pop Demon Hunters, which I like.
Yes. Genuinely, genuinely, that is so funny.
I'm trying to think
Um,
of anything else I can ask you about. Kind of, there's a lot to discuss with this movie, and I think we covered a lot of it. Hmm.
yeah, like all in all, I feel like it was a great movie. In terms of action, they finally learned how to color grade a movie in a Marvel like universe. What the fuck? So I think it had a lot of heart. I think the action and the set pieces were great. Two things I felt a little cheap on, or felt were a little cheap, was the hand fight, because I thought that would be halfway throughout the movie to actually rescue Jean Grey.
I thought so too.
So that's the thing. And then also the fact that, it basically was a rehash of Thunderbolts being like, you're not alone. You have me. I'm super powered. You're super powered. That doesn't make you different. Like, let's all be friends. But one thing I will say, and this is something that I've waited for this video to touch on, and I will actually need to run soon. But one thing that my girlfriend turned to me and said was, do you felt like that movie felt unfinished? And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, well, usually you have like a big fight scene, you know? And I was like, I get that. I feel that. And do you know what? I think it's up for wider discussion. But the fact that somebody who has seen, you know, quite a few MCU movies, all the TV shows and stuff like that, that were expecting this big, as I say, CGI boss battle in the sky, I feel like it's like the TikTokification of the MCU now.
Hmm.
It's like if we don't get that, we are so conditioned to be like, this was not a good movie because didn't have big sparkly CGI and monsters and this, that, and the other. And I think that the MCU has really like ruined a lot of their street level potential with that. Because as I say, my girlfriend, she's a casual fan. So whenever the casual fan is telling me, like, I was expecting like a big
Yeah,
boss
yeah.
battle sort of thing, like a big final thing, it's like, as the MCU really like shot itself in the foot in that regard. You know what I mean? Like,
I
can it can a movie be good to a casual audience if it doesn't have that?
I think like yeah, I
Because
mean
I
yeah,
don't.
yeah, it can. I think it's just a matter of I don't know. Like Thunderbolts doesn't end with a final battle. It ends with a like character work. Like them realizing the arc of the movie. Like I thought that worked
Oh,
really
they
well.
just done it
I
again.
love that. I did. I mean, this movie has a final battle. It's the hand fight. That is the third act final battle. I mean, it's a little small scale, but that is the final battle of the movie. Which
Yeah.
is it is weird though because like the Hulk battle is like the stakes of that are so much higher, and then we come down to like such lower stakes for the end.
Which
But
is why I felt
I
like
mean,
it
how is he
was a
gonna
little
fight Jean
cheap
Grey? She'd kill him immediately.
with the power of friendship. You ever play Mortal Kombat? It's like finish him. It's like
Yeah,
friendship,
yeah, yeah.
babality, or something. And like they're just sitting there like eating ice cream and shit.
Peak.
Like yeah, no, I think that there could have been something more there. And I feel like they were very restricted with what they could do with the whole man spider thing.
I
I
would have
knew
loved
they were
Man
never going to go
Spider.
full. See, I knew they were never going to go full man spider, but even Tom Holland said that he
Yeah, he
wanted,
was like,
like, he was
oh, you know, he'd
petitioning for
scare the
like
kids.
venom spikes coming out of his thing, his hands, and like, him having nightmares where it was like jump scares of him as a full man spider.
That would be
Like,
so
that would have
cool.
been sick.
Imagine the
But
hot
I feel
toy.
like if we but I feel like if we had that and it was just one or two scenes like that, it would have been the opposite complaint, being like they didn't go anywhere with it. So I'm sort of glad that they didn't put that in because it left more to be desired, and it always would have
I think he
because they
should have
could
just
never
become
do
Man
Man Spider.
Spider. I think he should have just become
But
that.
then how do you get him back? Like,
Kurt
are
Connors.
you returning?
Like it shouldn't. I understand why you do Bruce Banner and you can't do Kurt Connors, but in a Spider-Man story, you do Kurt Connors. Something's going wrong with him biologically. You go to Kurt Connors, and he's like, I don't know. he just has like the lizard cure on him or something, and you use that on Peter and it works. That's how you do that. And it'd be like that episode of the animated series where the Punisher has to fight him as Man Spider. Like Punisher's in the movie. You could have had a really great reference to that. I don't hold that against the movie. That's not a real complaint. It's something I would have liked to have seen. I understand why they didn't do it. But I don't know. I think it would have been cool and different for a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. I just don't think like it'd be realistic of how you get that back on track, especially with it being like portrayed as like a street level movie for him to go full like sort of body horror with it. I'm like and then literally Doomsday being up next. I just feel like this was like unfortunately in the order that it is. I feel like they don't have enough time to like actually like grow out the street level Spider-Man before the big fucking flashy event.
Yeah, no, you're right. But also, isn't that such bullshit though? That like we're at a point with Spider-Man movies where we have to consider like, oh, what's the next movie in the series? Whereas like in a real movie, you just make a movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
100%.
know. I think, like, if the MCU wasn't a thing, we could have the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time. Like, if we didn't have the MCU to deal with, the bones are here for the best Spider-Man movie.
Would you have Tom Holland?
Yes.
Or would you have somebody different?
No, I'd have Tom Holland. I think he's great. It's the writing that holds him back. He's incredible. He's so good in the role.
100%. What do we think
one good thing
scene?
I really want to say. The good thing I really want to say. The first, like, I think, like, 20, 30 minutes of this movie, genuine masterpiece. Like, the whole, like, dealing with him, he's alone, he's a workaholic. All the Spider-Man montage, seeing how he interacts with New York and the world, and Jean DeWolf, who we didn't talk about, but she's great. All of that I loved.
Amazing.
I thought all of that was great. And then as soon as we get to the Jean Grey stuff, the movie just... But up until that point, absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Like a lot of people said that it starts slow, and then it's until the Jean Grey thing in the street, where she's like taking over a lot of different people. Also, props to them actors.
That one guy, the guy who's up first. That's maybe my favorite performance in the movie. He's amazing.
Yeah, so good. Also, did she kill a guy?
Yes,
definitely a van.
She killed so many people. She killed so many people. And that one guy that gets hit by a car, Spider-Man did not give a fuck.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It was just like, oh well, MJ. But yeah, like right. So, what do we think to wrap this up of the post-credit scene going forward into Doomsday? What are we thinking? I know he's not in Doomsday. Right?
No, he's in Secret Wars.
Basically. Yeah, so they were shooting this alongside Doomsday, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I have two thoughts. Thought one, what if it's for Spider-Verse instead? Because that's coming out next. That's out next year. What if this is a tease for Spider-Verse? That they're going to put Tom Holland in Spider-Verse 3. I would love that. I think that'd be cool. I think that's one possibility. Two, the Spider Tracker makes no sense to me. How does it work? How would you track Spider-Man? Doesn't make any sense.
So I think that it very much is, and I think we touched on this like through voice notes. I think it is very much like the FS or FNSM app in the games that people basically log their sightings.
But it doesn't work because like Punisher is like actively tracking him on his phone like as he moves through the city. So what every single person for like 3 blocks is like, wow, look at him, he's up there, I'll log it in the app. It doesn't make any sense. The only reason it's in the movie is for the post-credit scene. I think it's really silly.
Yeah, but I think that the marketing with the marketing could have been so boring, but the fact that they leaned into the CEO like meme, I think was perfect. Like I being that they leaned into that, I actually really enjoyed it. I know it doesn't make sense. Again, it's one of those things where like, none of our opinions matter and nothing has to make sense because it's comics and these people don't exist. But
no, comics
at the
do
same
matter.
time,
it is important. It does make sense.
No. Well, in terms of comics mattering, yeah, but I mean, as in terms of like, there's a blind guy who can like one-shot Doom.
It's peak.
Like you've seen Daredevil and Doom like fucking going at it.
It's
like
peak.
That would never happen in real life. That's not realistic.
No,
you know what I mean?
Happen.
So neither.
I believe in my goat, Matt Murdock.
Ah!
He has the power of friendship.
Get him.
He has Karen and Foggy by his side. He's got this.
my girlfriend still doesn't believe Foggy's dead, and I'm like, oh my god, no. Literally, she's like, but we didn't see it like a body. We didn't see a funeral. I'm like,
I'm
you
pretty sure you
literally
saw a
see
body.
his
I'm
funeral
pretty sure you see a
pamphlet.
body.
Yeah, yeah.
You see a
She's
bullet
holding on.
enter that body.
Genuinely. She's like, oh, but like, what happens if he survived or something? I was like, no, definitely not. But in saying that, I feel like the spider tracker, yeah, it doesn't like it isn't realistic whatsoever. But I feel like as a plot point in the movie, it's fun to have that as like, it gives Ned a bit of an interesting like thing to do. Um, I think yeah, it was only in the movie for the post credit scene. I feel like there could have been a better post credit scene, definitely. I feel like there could have been two
What if it was
post
Silk?
credit
What if
scenes.
it was Silk? Like we just cut to her, to Cindy walking on the street, and something's coming behind her, and she just does a big jump over it to highlight her spider sense, and that's the tease. We don't see a web, we don't see a wall crawl, we see the spider sense, and it's a tease that she has the powers and she exists in the world. That would have gotten me so excited. That would have made this movie so much more interesting to me. I like the spider characters. I like Silk. I would have loved that.
Even not even introducing something like literally have like Ned waking up in bed being like, oh,
With
what the
Peter,
fuck's going on? Blah blah
wakes
blah.
up in
No,
bed
no,
with
no,
Peter.
yeah, totally.
The CEO of
No,
Sex does it
he like
again.
sex too confirmed. But no, he like wakes up in bed and he's like, what's going on? There's like police sirens, there's everything, there's like big loud noises coming out, and he opens the curtains and the entire world is getting swallowed by an incursion, and it just cuts to black and says Spider-Man will return. Like something like that, just to like further that on, that would have been like the same effect, only more interesting.
I don't think they can
Um,
do that because they haven't, like, we know that the incursions are the plot
yeah,
of Doomsday, but not everyone knows that. But I guess at the same time, that is a way of teasing it. To be like, this is what's at stake.
yeah,
Like the whole world's gonna end.
yeah. How are they gonna? Oh, there's so many questions I have about that. Like, it does definitely depend because you've read the leaks. I haven't of Doomsday, but I feel like that movie is going to be 3 hours of just like setting up the next one. Like, I feel like a lot of talking is going to happen and
Not
not a
not to.
lot of
I won't
action.
spoil it. I did like my last podcast episode. I talked about all the spoilers in depth, but it's got like an ending. Like it has like a genuine ending. I won't. That's all I'll
Oh,
say.
okay,
But it's
okay.
like it's not
I
so much
just
like
don't.
setting up like Secret Wars. It's a lot of like coming to a point and ending it, and then Secret Wars is about carrying on that ending and like seeing how people will or the characters will deal with the ending. But it has an ending.
Mm, okay, that's good to know at least. What I will say is like, even though it has an ending, I do feel it's going to be just Infinity War, like part two. I
I
feel
won't
like
comment.
everybody's going to fucking die.
I
And
won't
then
comment.
literally, like, it's going to be like, oh, how do we deal with like getting everybody back? Blah, blah, blah. And that'll be Secret Wars.
I won't comment.
And then it'll be like Doom and all his Celestials and this and the other, or not Celestials, what do you call them?
The Sentinels.
X-Men thing, Sentinels. Yeah. All them.
Oh yeah, incredible restraint for them to not call her a mutant or use the X-Men theme because they did both for Miss Marvel, who's not a mutant or a member of the X-Men. So incredible restraint, genuinely, to for them to not
She
call
has a
Jean
mutation
Grey.
in her DNA.
Yeah, but they don't like just say like, "Oh
I,
wow, you're a real mutant, Jean Grey," or then when she's like, "I'm a mutant," and then he goes, like that. Incredible restraint, genuinely.
See, I feel like that would have been way too cheap.
It would have
I
been so
feel like I
stupid.
would have walked out of the theater. Yeah, it'd be too on the nose. Do you know what it would have been class, right? It would have been so like campy and so like mid 2000s if like she got like an email notification saying like like she was on the bus on the way to Xavier's and she got like a confirmation of like her start date or whatever. Her
Yeah.
training begins today, and her email notification sound effect was an 8-bit.
Oh, it's like this isn't like a real issue, but it always makes me like scratch my head. But like the notification for the Spider Tracker is the Spider-Man theme that like that I couldn't even hum it. Yeah, it's that. Like how? Why does that exist in this universe? It happens in the Raimi movies too. There's a girl on the street singing the Spider-Man theme. Like how? That doesn't make any sense.
With a violin.
It happens in Spectacular Spider-Man. One of the villains hums this theme song to the show, and it's like how? How do you know that? What's going on here? It's meta and it bothers me.
because because if you think about it, like these movies are current, right? There's got to be some TikTokers who like make music based on Spider-Man, like I don't know, like there's people who have made like songs about like Max Black from Two Broke Girls, you know what I mean? Or I Love You, Amy Smart, or like I'm pretty sure like the Bowling for Soup done one about somebody. You know, it's literally like that's the new thing
Yeah, or
is
like
to
in the
like
Amazing Spider-Man
basically
2, that's his own ringtone. That's Peter's own ringtone. How self-centered can you be?
yeah, like you're repping your own merch, you know what I mean? Like if somebody makes a song about you, you're gonna be like, hell yeah, unless
Do
you're
you do
like
you
one of
wear
Taylor
your
Swift's
band merch
exes.
out?
No comment.
Goat
No,
detected.
no, yeah.
If I used
No,
to have a
here's the
roast
thing.
turkey hat. I would wear that every now and then. I think I still have it somewhere.
That's so pig. That's so pig.
I can't wear hats anymore. I have too much
That
hair.
can't relate.
Whoa!
Whoa.
CEO of sex over there.
Sex day. I'm a no, I'm what do you call it?
A virgin.
A variant. Yeah, same thing. I am Sex One, the prequel,
The prequel.
the squiggle.
That's
Um,
good stuff.
yeah. So, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Am I right?
It's good. It's the best movie I've ever seen in my life. Hi, hello, welcome back. I mean, not welcome back. You haven't gone anywhere, probably. I've been gone. I've been doing things like watching Wuthering Heights. That was homework this week. Wuthering Heights is it's Wuthering Heights. And I couldn't figure out like okay, so I've never read the book Wuthering Heights. I didn't even know it was based on a book. Until like well into the marketing. Like I just knew people were upset about it and I couldn't figure out why. So like in terms of like me judging its accuracy to the source material or anything like that, it will not happen because I don't know the source material. And I was going to read the Wikipedia page, but then I was like, I'm probably not going to like, it's not going to change the fact that I'm not going to know whether it gets it right or wrong. So I didn't bother. So I will be reviewing Wuthering Heights simply on the merits of it being a movie. Like in my mind, this is an original film based on nothing, came from the mind of Emerald Fennell. And that being said, this movie is written and directed by Emerald Fennell. It is her third directorial effort off the back of Saltburn, which was her second movie off the back of Promising Young Woman. Now, so far, we've reviewed Promising Young Woman, which I loved, and then Saltburn, which I thought was fine. And now we're at Wuthering Heights, which I think sits comfortably between the two of them. I think it's marginally better than Saltburn, but is nowhere near as good as Promising Young Woman, which I maintain is very, very good. This movie is a lot more similar to Saltburn than Promising Young Woman. I'd like to see Emerald Fennell tap back into things like Promising Young Woman. Like a character study, an exploration of societal issues and what have you. There's a little like class, I don't know, class. It's not. I don't want to say like classism or something. There's like some commentary on class and status in this movie, but it's I don't know. It's about as meaningful as it was in Saltburn in that like it's there, but Fennell's not saying anything about it. Uh, she isn't interested in doing that, or at least can't do it, because I felt that Promising Young Woman, she did have something to say about rape culture and misogyny and revenge and just things like that, and feminism and like meaningful topics. And then we got to Saltburn and it felt like she had nothing to say, and now we're at Wuthering Heights and it feels like she has nothing to say. So I'm curious if she just wasted all her sauce on her first movie and since then is just doing this. Like, I think she writes compelling enough things. Like, I was never bored in Saltburn. I was never bored in Wuthering Heights. And there's like every once in a while something will happen. I'm like, ooh, that's some good shit. But on the whole, it's just very hollow and uninteresting, I feel. Not boring, just dull, I think is the way I'd put it. Whereas Promised Young Woman, I felt was very just interesting, had something to say, had teeth. In a way that Saltburn and Wuthering Heights don't. So anyway, Wuthering Heights, it stars Margot Robbie as Catherine and Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff. As children, Catherine's father takes in and adopts Heathcliff, or maybe not adopts him, like just I don't know, owns him. He's a servant. But he was like a little boy taken off the streets, and so they grow up together. They're friends, and then they turn into Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. And she knows that he's in love with her. She's in love with him, but really can't admit it. Because he's poor and she doesn't like that. So a rich guy moves in like down the road, and she decides to try to marry him and marry into wealth. And Heathcliff doesn't like that, so he runs away. And so then some years later, he returns and he's Jacob Elordi, but he's clean, he's handsome. I love the accent Elordi is doing in this, by the way. Like really like smarmy, harsh British accent. I think it fits him really well. I don't think he'd be a good James Bond, but I am sympathetic to that fan cast. I get why people would want that, but as a Bond fan, he's just not right for it. But he is great. He's incredible. He's really good in this. He's good in everything. I've yet to see a performance of Jacob Elordi's where I went, nah. I think he's very talented. But anywho, so once he comes back and Catherine's remarried, or not remarried, but is married to a different guy, they rekindle their romance and they begin an affair, and the movie just goes from that point on. I wouldn't say I enjoyed this. I didn't dislike it. I liked it to a point. Like I think it's fine. It's fine, but not in the way that Saltburn was fine. I thought Saltburn was fine in the way where I was like, yeah, there's like something here. It's got merit, but it's not like good. Like I wouldn't rewatch Saltburn. I think I would rewatch Wuthering Heights. Like if somebody was like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna watch a movie tonight. You want to watch Wuthering Heights?" Like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. But if someone's like, "You want to watch Saltburn?" Like, no, not really. But I think this is a lot better than Saltburn just because of I don't know. I like there's a lot more here I enjoyed. I like the score. I think the score is really good. There's a couple moments where a Charlie XCX song plays. I know she made like a companion album for this movie, which I haven't listened to, but I think those moments where her songs play is very jarring for this movie that is very, I would say, like authentically 1800s, like in aesthetic and dialogue and costume design. I'm not a historian. I don't know how accurate all that is, but it feels right to me, you know? But I like the way it looks. The cinematography in all of Fennell's movies is beautiful. She was just really good at working with DPs that are incredibly talented. I don't know the DP for this one, but whoever it was, like, fucking knocked it out of the park. This is a gorgeous movie. There are shots and frames of this movie that look like paintings. They're beautiful. The way that the landscape is captured, the way the sets are captured, the set design's incredible. There is a moment, an exterior shot of the house that Catherine lives in that has some of the fakest looking snow I've ever seen. That part I thought was funny. But there's even like some gothic imagery in this that I really liked. There's just some good stuff happening here. I will say though, judging by the trailer and an R rating and what have you, I thought this was going to be like a horny erotic movie. This is not a horny erotic movie. I'm like 90% sure Emerald Fennell is a virgin. Just the way that she writes and kind of frames and directs these scenes, even in Saltburn, there's really no intimacy in Promising Young Woman, but the intimacy that exists in Saltburn and Wuthering Heights, it's so sexless. It's so there's no like there is a level of tension and chemistry between Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. You can feel it. It's not as palpable as like other actor pairings I've seen. Like, I mean, to use an example that is so far removed from this genre and type of movie, in Batman Forever, I'm going to compare Wuthering Heights to Batman Forever. But in Batman Forever, the sexual tension that exists between Chase Meridian and Bruce Wayne is insane. Nicole Kidman and Val Kilmer's chemistry in that movie is off the fucking charts. It's crazy how badly they want to fuck each other. It's nuts. And that's a kid's movie. And then in this movie, I was like, yeah, I guess you guys want to fuck, but I don't feel it, you know? Like, I'm not here, like, ovulating over it. I'm not like, wow, these guys really want to bang. I'm just like, yeah, okay, I guess you want to have sex with each other. You're two hot people, you want to fuck, sure, whatever. I felt like that chemistry was kind of there, but it wasn't as there as like the scenes seem to think they are. And then the way that Fennell writes uh like sex and love scenes are so devoid of intimacy, so devoid of any amount of just sexual energy. And I can't tell if that's a failing of her writing or a failing of her directing or a failing of the actor pairing. But like even in Saltburn, there's a couple scenes in Saltburn that are meant to be like sexual in nature, and there's just no level of intimacy. It's very odd to me. I think she needs to move away from this kind of filmmaking because she just doesn't seem capable of fulfilling it. Or I don't know, maybe just get better at it. It can't be that hard, I say as a guy that's not a Hollywood writer. But I don't know. I felt like this movie was sold on the romance of Heathcliff and Catherine and like the forbidden love between them. But it's just, I don't know. I didn't entirely feel it or buy it. Like the core crux of the movie is this romance they have behind her husband's back. And like the fact that they are so like, they're both terrible people who are in love with each other, and the lengths they go to kind of avoid being forthcoming with it, but also to just get each other. Like I don't know. I think Elordi and Robbie play it really well, but they're just kind of let down by a lack of intimacy in the writing, and maybe a lack of chemistry. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I mean, I guess I could tell you. I think it might be both, actually. I'm thinking about like other movies about like with actors with incredible chemistry. Like I felt that, Robert Pattinson, again another Batman movie, but Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz. Sorry, their chemistry in the Batman's nuts. Like the level of eye fucking they do with each other is crazy. I think of like a rom com I've seen with like incredible chemistry. Can't think of one at the moment, but I know I've seen better chemistry in movies. So I don't know. I think it's probably a mixture, a failing of Fennell's writing and a failing of Elordi and Robbie having like the chemistry required for these roles. I will say though, I do like them as characters. I like the characters of Catherine and Heathcliff. I like that they're awful. They're just there's two terrible fucking people. Catherine's probably worse. Maybe I don't know. The shit Heathcliff was doing to Isabella was kind of fucked up. No, it was pretty fucked up. But I felt like Catherine, she's so selfish and whiny. She's a brat. I like that as a child she's like that, and you might think she might age out of it, but when she becomes Margot Robbie, she's still the worst. I like that. I like that they were so committed to this spoiled rich brat who never really escaped that, who was so... she was more willing to abandon true, genuine love for a person than abandon her status, or claim higher status. Like status meant more to her than actual earnest love, and I thought that was like a really solid choice. And she might be like that in the book. I don't know. I haven't read it, but I think that's interesting. And like the way that they tiptoe around each other, and just the way they like deceive other people to be with each other in this forbidden romance. I enjoyed all of that. I thought that was really interesting. Just two awful people being awful. I'm a big fan of that. I like when bad people are bad. I don't know. I do feel that it kind of dips at a point. I enjoyed it up until... Oh, yeah, I enjoyed it up until they actually start banging on the side. That's when I lost like a lot of interest in this movie, because I enjoyed the run up. I enjoyed like the character work, and I thought it was pretty funny too. It stops being funny after a while, but there's some really solid humor in this to a point, and then it's just never funny again. And then after that, Heathcliff comes back, and I was still enjoying it. And there's a scene between him and Catherine where he basically says I've come back to torment you. Like you threw me away, but I'm back now. And he's suave and he's confident and he's wealthy. I forgot how. I don't remember if they even explain why he's come into wealth. I don't remember. But she tells him Isabella's quite fond of you, and he's like, ooh, interesting. And he tells her, I forgot, she says you can marry her for all I care. And he's like, well, if I knew you meant that, I'd slit my throat right now. And like, I don't know, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed like the mechanism, not mechanism, that's the wrong word. I enjoyed the story of this guy who was so in love with her that when she threw him away and chose someone else, it not only broke his heart, but it just filled him with so much contempt that he just held on to it all these years. That it didn't go anywhere. It just fueled him, and when he came back, the only thing on his mind was vengeance. I thought that was interesting. Kind of makes him a weird fucking loser, but I thought that was interesting. And then that tension, that intrigue of the characters, how they both clearly love each other, but they're in two different spots, and she's hurt that he left. He's hurt that she didn't choose him, that it blinds them to the love that they clearly have for one another. And then I thought that was gonna linger longer. I thought that was gonna be like the crux of the movie, this will they, won't they thing. Will they admit to each other how they feel? And then they do, like 2 scenes later, and then they start banging, and I was like, oh, okay, well the only thing I felt interest for is gone now, and we're just doing a different thing. That I didn't find very interesting. Her sneaking around with Heathcliff around behind her husband's back. I didn't really like any of that. I like Nellie, played by Hong Chow. I thought that was really great. I think she's great. She's in The Menu, and she's in something else I've seen. I can't remember what it was. Oh, she's in The Whale. She's the nurse in The Whale. Yeah. And then in The Menu, she's like the head chef, or like the sous chef. Yeah, she's like this. Oh no, is she not the sous chef? I think she's like the head waitress or something. I don't remember. The Menu. I think I liked it. Anywho, all the intrigue around Heathcliff and Catherine, or at least the intrigue that I felt, like what I was interested in exploring, isn't explored. It's there for a moment. There's a part where he tells her, like, you threw me away. He explains how hurt he was. Like, you tossed me away. You said I would degrade you. And he's like, I held on to that. Like, that broke something inside of me. And I was like, wow, that's like really compelling. That's interesting drama. Like, he feels so slighted by this. He never let it go. It's not even that he's so in love with her. He like feels hatred for this woman. That's really interesting. But they don't, there's no like dramatization of that. Fennell wasn't interested in that. And maybe the book isn't either. I haven't read it, but I don't know. It was just disappointing for like the only thing that really captured my attention is not delved into, is not given time to breathe or to be explored. It happens for a moment, and then we move on, and we just have like a pretty straightforward romance drama, which again looks beautiful, sounds beautiful, is performed really well, but just didn't really hold my attention. I think most of this is bolstered by Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, who are great. And seeing them play characters who are just the worst fucking people, I did enjoy. But I enjoyed it to a point where it kind of became a little monotonous, where I was like, I don't really care about this anymore. And then it ends. She dies and it's over. It's fine. I don't know. I liked it more than Saltburn, but Emerald Fennell has just not made something as good as Promising Young Woman yet. So I don't know. I don't know what her 4th movie is, or like if that's even been confirmed. I'll look it up. What is... Oh, I can't even fucking type. What is Emerald Fennell's next movie? Reddit says Wuthering Heights, so I mean that's... I don't know. Should I read Wuthering Heights, I think is my question. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I mean, AI says Emerald Fennell's most recent movies are adaptation of Wuthering Heights. She has not yet officially announced her next directorial project. I don't know. I'd be curious to see what she does next. I'll be there. I'll be there in theaters. I haven't seen any of her movies in theaters yet. So the 4th one will be the first one. I don't know. I think she's a good director. I think her writing is mostly good. Promising Young Woman's a beautiful script. But I felt like Saltburns was just not up to snuff. And Wuthering Heights I felt was better than Saltburn, but still ultimately lacking. And again, like it being marketed as this horny, sexy thriller, and it ultimately being a sexless, completely devoid of intimacy or sexual tension was just very odd to me. I don't need like tons of graphic nudity. I just wanted to feel the heat. I wanted to feel the intimacy. I want to get a little hot under the collar. There's a makeout scene in Evil Dead Burn that is like the hottest, sexiest makeout I've seen in a movie in maybe like 2 years. Yeah. And it's crazy. That's a fucking horror movie. Not a very good one either. And it's got a makeout scene between a woman and a deadite where I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. So I don't know, man. But yeah, oh shit, I hit my microphone. But yeah, I was also reviewing the Emerald Fennell movies on the basis of she was going to make a Zatanna movie for a while, or at least for a little bit. I think it was announced in 2021 off the back of Promising Young Woman, before like the DCU started and James Gunn took over. She was tapped to write and direct a Zatanna movie. And so I've been watching these movies just on the basis of, could she have done that? And after finishing her filmography, no. My ultimate answer is no. I don't think she could have written Zatanna. And she'd even gone on. She said that she wasn't interested in Zatanna the superhero. She was interested in Zatanna the character. But I don't even think she could have pulled that off. Because the thing about Zatanna that makes her interesting is that she's like a fun, quirky girl in her 20s. She's it's about her dealing with her dating life and the dramas of balancing work and life and wanting to be a great magician, but also having to save the magical realms every now and then. And she's fun and she's quippy and I love Zatanna. She's fun. And Emerald Fennell movies are not fun. She writes characters who are either fundamentally flawed or fundamentally evil. And Zatanna she's like got her flaws, but that's not the crux of who she is. Zatanna Zatara is a 20-year-old, a girl in her 20s figuring out life with like a real, a big heart and earnestness and love at the center of it all. And that's just not the kind of characters that Fennell does or writes. So no, I don't think she would have been right for a Zatanna movie. I also think like Zatanna is a character that maybe can't even really be done in live action. Just like the way her magic operates and the way that her corner of the DC universe works, I don't know. I'd like to see live action Zatanna. I don't think that'd necessarily be a bad thing, but I am worried that however they do it, it would ultimately be lacking. And I don't think Fennell would have been the right choice. She also doesn't make like action movies or superhero movies. That's not remotely her thing. She makes character studies and dramas. I don't know. I don't see why that was like something a Warner Brothers executive wanted. So they saw Promising Young Woman was like, wow, this would be great if it was Zatanna. Like, what, are you stupid? Anywho. Promising Young Woman's great. Saltburn's fine. Wuthering Heights is fine, but still better than Saltburn. That's ultimately where I stand on Fennell. So yeah, cool. Whoop-de-doo. All right, so for next week's homework, I've been doing filmographies by directors. We did what's his name? Ari Aster. We did all of Ari Aster's movies, or at least the ones I hadn't seen. We did all of Robert Eggers' movies. Now we did all of Emerald Fennell's movies. I'm going to take a break from that, from going through different directors' work. And next week's homework is going to be Anora, because I haven't seen it yet, and I've been meaning to see it for like, I don't know, however long it's been out for. I think it's been like 2 years since it came out. But I've been meaning to watch it. I really like Mikey Madison. It won Best Picture at the Oscars last year. So, it's got to be something. So, yeah, I'm going to watch Anora, and we'll talk about Anora next week. So, homework for next week is Anora. In terms of other media I've been enjoying this past week, I watched all the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies because I did Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, and the day after that I did Brand New Day. And then I saw Brand New Day again after that. No, it's bad. I didn't like it. Like any of them. I didn't enjoy any of them. Like, I think there's elements in some of them that I like, but on the whole, I just don't think they're good. I think the only two Spider-Man movies I thoroughly really, really like or even love is Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. Those movies they're so good, just as films, but also like as movies that understand Spider-Man and are interested in unpacking who he is as a character. Those movies take the cake. The first one's written by David Koepp, and the second one, I forgot who it's written by, but those writers, like, they just know Spider-Man. They've actually opened up the comic books and understand that character. And that level of understanding, that level of care given to Peter Parker, it just has not happened again since, and it really bothers me. He's genuinely one of the best superheroes of all time, and he just doesn't get the care he deserves. I also think that the ultimate adaptation of Spider-Man, though, like in anything out of the comic books, it's Spectacular Spider-Man. That show nails him perfectly. It understands him, his world, his supporting cast, who he is, what he represents. All of it is perfect. And it's honestly like if a writer wanted to write a Spider-Man movie but didn't want to open the comic book, like for whatever fucking reason you want to make a Spider-Man movie but you're like anti-comic book, just watch Spectacular Spider-Man and pull from that. That is like the thing you pull from, because it's peak. It's amazing. It's actually perfect. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I've read very few comics this week. Oh, actually, I went through Wonder Woman Year 1 by Greg Rucka because I'm making a video about Wonder Woman, or I'm going to try to. I'm done with my classes now, and I've finally like figured out my work-life balance, and I've decided that what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like cut off everyone in my... This isn't a joke. I'm going to cut off everyone in my life, and I'm going to just make YouTube videos. I've decided that that's what I want to do. I don't have interest in like pursuing like relationships or doing anything anymore. I haven't made a proper YouTube video in almost a year now. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it hasn't been that long, but yeah, I want to do that. I missed in 2020 and 2021, even like back in 2019, I was probably the happiest I'd ever been, and the only thing I did was make YouTube videos. I would watch something, I would write a script, I'd edit it, and I would pump out a video. I pulled all-nighters on videos I made that, like, watching them now, they're absolute garbage. But I was so committed, and I lost that at some point. But I have the urge again. I want to do that again. And it's going to come at a cost, like my social life, but I'm okay with that. I want to do this. I'm so committed. But yeah, no, other than that, that's it. That's all I got. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you're still here, means the most. Thank you for indulging me. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will hopefully see you next time. Remember, homework for next week is Nora. Go watch Nora with your parents. From what I've heard, that is absolutely a movie you should watch with your parents. Sit like right between them. Hold their hands like you're a child while you watch it. I feel like that's the best viewing experience. But anywho, I'll see you next week. Bye!